Yeah, we weren't expecting Santa to be on our turf. Oh. And there it is. Boom, boom,
Hey, you can actually lower it down a little bit.
boom. Yeah, let's get him situated.
How's that?
That's good.
Yeah, testing.
Oh, yes.
I feel like I should be in one of those rap videos where you've got the headphones on.
Oh, yeah. And just up on
Got your
it.
cans on.
Yeah. Well, Todd, you let us know when it's time to get started, and we'll get this party started.
In about 5 minutes.
In about, we got to wait 5 minutes?
Well, let's just chit-chat then. That'd be great.
Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of Our Town Podcast.
Extraordinary.
Coming to you from the historic Renton Civic Theater in beautiful, beautiful downtown Renton, Washington. And if you'll notice the table up here, we've got a special guest, Mr. Ed Prince.
Oh, very good to have you. Very good to have you.
Happy to be here with you guys.
Renton institution at this point,
my
right?
goodness.
I would say so. Come on, everybody knows Ed. We joke about Mike being Mayor Mike because he knows everybody. He walks around downtown. Everybody knows Mike, you know. It's one of those things. But you are actually a Renton City Council member.
Yes.
And we're excited to have you here because we're going to hit you with some Renton questions, and then you're just going to join us with, our normal discussion stuff. Does that sound?
That sounds awesome.
Awesome. Well, tonight's safe word, everybody, for tonight is Clarence, in honor
Clarence.
of the angel from It's a Wonderful
very
Life.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody feels unsafe or just needs a moment, a timeout, just yell out, Clarence. We'll stop this here program and we'll check on you and make sure everything's okay.
And just so you know, Ed, nobody ever calls out the safe word.
Todd does, but just as a joke.
Well, I was worried because you said Clarence, and the first thing that came into my mind was Clarence Thomas.
No.
I was
That's not safe at
kind of
all.
where my brain went to.
He's one of the few modern Clarences. Though,
Right?
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I don't know
true.
how safe that is.
Yeah, but well, I went
That's
to
a different program.
Sure.
Yeah. We're not going to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that leads me to say that policymakers are important in our society, right? We live in a democracy, and the people who write policy are important because they have impact over many people and over time, right? So I'm glad to be here with a local policymaker. So because I think it's an important role in our society, and thank you for participating.
Of course. I'm happy to be on the pod. I've made it to the big time.
Yeah.
All right.
Ed, how many? This is your what term are you in now? Because you just were reelected.
I was just reelected 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Almost a month ago. I am at the end of my third term.
Okay, and I know before that you worked a lot with Mayor Dennis Law.
Yes.
Were you his campaign manager?
I was not. That was Ryan McIrvin.
Oh, it was
I
Ryan.
didn't know.
Okay, another city council member.
Ryan McIrvin.
Yeah,
Yes,
all
but
right.
I was actively involved in the campaign.
Yeah.
Really like Dennis. I mean, I really like Armando too. So that's
Sure.
Yeah.
that's no sneak diss.
Yeah, and Armando was a council member with you for a while.
Yes,
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
for about 8.5 years or so.
Yeah. So this is funny. I met Ed. We're going to go back in the Wayback Machine. I met Ed. Ed was teaching a class on nonprofits and NGOs for, I forget the organization, but I remember I had to go. Seattle Works. That's what it was. Had to go down to the YMCA in downtown Seattle, and Ed was teaching this class like once or twice a week for a couple of weeks. I forget what it was. Really cool class, but Ed, terrific guy, and we knew we sort of like, oh, I'm in Renton. He's in Renton. Oh, yeah. So it was a cool little Renton connection. And then probably, I don't know, a couple years later.
About 3 years later.
We met again because our kids went to the same preschool.
Yep.
Oh, gee.
Which was Lisa's Phoenix Montessori right up the hill, and Lisa was on the board here for a short time.
Yeah, she was when I got here.
Yeah, wonderful person. So anyway, that's how I met Ed, and then he's been just a part of my Renton life ever since, and we run into each other a few times a year, I would say, and catch up.
Well, you also forgot our wives work for the same company.
Oh, yeah. How could I forget that? Yeah, Megan is just a wonderful person, and she works over at one of the big manufacturers here. I guess I could say PACCAR.
Yes.
And
not a secret necessarily. Yeah.
And Danny works over there, so they're both over there, and they get together for lunch once in a while and catch up and stuff like that. But, yeah, man, just a small world, I guess.
Well, and also, when I met you, I was like, Charles Bressler. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, you thought I was Don's.
The president of Renton Technical College is Don Bressler.
yeah.
So many people have asked me that over the years that I just started saying yes.
Yeah,
Yep. He's
he
my guy.
left
Yep.
me everything.
I was like, are you guys related? And you're like, nope. Like, that is amazing.
Speaking of Renton institutions, Don was a Renton institution for a long time and
Yes,
just
he
a
was.
heck of a human. So rest in peace to him. He's been gone, geez, 3-4 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. Yeah, man.
Before COVID.
Before COVID, yeah. Yeah, so Ed, kind of explain what your role on the city council is, because I think we all have this perception that you guys are like the city Congress, right? You sort of steer laws and make laws for the city, and then the mayor's office sort of has to enact them and keep them going and stuff like that. What
That is actually a very accurate description.
Okay.
We are the legislative body for the city of Renton, and so we implement ordinances that the mayor and his administration, his team, have to implement. And so, we meet the first 4 Mondays of the month. No fifth Mondays, which is all people are like, "You're home. It's Monday." I'm like, "Yeah, look at the calendars. It's fifth Monday. That's why I'm here." And my kids are just conditioned for me not being home on Mondays.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm home, they're like, "What's going on?" So,
Who's this guy?
well, my daughter's like, "So if you lose the election, what happens?" I'm like, "I'm home on Mondays." And my son, Alex, was like, "I don't want you to lose."
Oh, come on, Alex.
Hey, man.
Oh, man.
The love.
Yeah.
Boy.
Alex's kids are just adorable, and I can't call Alex adorable anymore. He's
Nah,
becoming a young man, but Carrington is certainly just adorable as
He's
heck.
very sweet.
Yeah.
But so, we enact laws, we pass laws, ordinances, resolutions impacting the city of Renton. And I love the job because we get to deal with so many different things, so many different elements of the city of Renton. The hardest part of the job for me was during COVID when, we were all on Zoom, so we weren't able to have that human face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go to an event and interact with people or walk downtown and talk to business owners or bump into Mike on the street. And
The public square feeling was kind of gone.
it was kind of gone. And it's like you realize COVID helped me realize how social people actually are, and you need, even if you're an introvert, there's still a part of you where you need that social interaction where you're talking to people.
It's our reference points, right?
Yeah.
In a vast universe, we need reference points.
Yeah, for sure. There's not six? Is there 8 members or 9?
There are 7 members.
7
We have
members.
to have
Okay,
an odd number.
Odd number. All fantastic people. I've met them all except for maybe 1 or 2. But just, everybody I've met on the council is just a fantastic person and interesting personalities, and it's a great mix down there. How do you feel going to the meetings? Are you excited to go all the time? And
If I will say this, and I've said this consistently since the day that I was elected. If I ever get to the point where Sunday night comes and it's like, I gotta go do this, then I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. I won't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't
Not
want
worth
to. Well, number one, it's not fair to the residents to have someone that's kind of checked out.
Yeah.
And number two, why put yourself through that kind of stress?
Yeah.
Where you're like dreading something and like, oh God, this is horrible.
Yeah.
I gotta,
It's a service position.
Yeah.
And it's like,
But we've got so many cool things happening in Renton, and I'm sure you're going to ask me about that. But it's just kind of it's so exciting to be able to see something. Like when I started 12 years ago, it felt like I was walking in on the middle of conversations that had been going on for a while.
Sure.
And now it's kind of I forgot my glasses. And now it's kind of more of being able to see something from start to finish.
That's great.
And being like, oh, I talked about this thing 2 years ago to, oh, this thing is actually happening.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Geez, a lot of really big and obvious infrastructure and projects and stuff.
And I'll
right?
name
It's
one
great.
right now, Philip Arnold Park here in
Oh,
Renton.
man.
Oh my gosh, we just walked through there on Sunday.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. They did a great job. It's not
job.
completely finished, but I was like,
but
wow.
it is open now.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was actually a car fire there a couple nights ago. Yeah.
Oh my
I
goodness.
didn't hear about that.
Yeah, apparently, I mean, I was immersed in a game, so I wasn't really paying attention to explosions outside my room. But yeah, apparently there was something going on in my room. It's like, dude, there's a car on fire out by the park. It's like, what are you talking about? And there's video on the historic Renton Hill
Oh my goodness.
Facebook page.
Is everybody okay?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything otherwise. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, there was video of this car just in flames, and yeah,
Maybe
I
the
love it.
TikTok
I
challenge
wish they'd
these
done it.
days.
probably I wish that.
Wish they'd done the park 10 years ago, because now my kid's going to be like, I don't want to go play
And you
on
want
the
to just
swings.
hang out at the park all
I
the
don't want to
time.
hang out at the park and
Well,
play
it's too
on the
soon.
I will
swings
tell you,
and
the
stuff.
other one that opened like a couple of months ago up in the Highlands, Kiwanis Park.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Kiwanis
I,
Park.
I didn't know it got a
Isn't-
facelift.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that
geez,
the one
okay.
across the
Yeah.
street from Honeydew?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah,
Yeah.
geez, good call.
It is. I was up there for the grand opening. I think it was in September, maybe August. Time kind of flies. It's awesome. Like they whole new facelift looks. So they did Kiwanis and Philip Arnold around the same time.
All right.
And so to have them both open again, and we have so many parks in
Oh, you know, Renton Parks
It
are
really
famous.
is.
Yeah, no, for real.
I-
Yeah, no, it's great.
I only know about that park because when I was real little, like toddler size, we used to live on that street, and my sister would take me to the park all the time.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see the Rainier project finishing up, right? Because like every deciduous tree got, right.
It was hard.
But,
The first time driving down
it's
Rainier,
just-
heading
it
towards
doesn't seem
Tommy's
like the
or
same
Rainier,
place, yeah.
just was like, where am I?
I try to avoid Rainier because
It's rough right now.
So
It is.
rough.
Yeah, it is.
And the only time I can't is Carrington's hair salon is on Rainier.
So
I actually have to go on Rainier
Oh, yeah.
to do it. And like I have not been to Tommy's, which I love. I love
Sure.
Tommy's. I'm like, okay. But when I walked into a hair salon, I'm like, can you tell us when this is going to be over? I can't. I'm sorry.
Come on, Ed. You know
No,
everything.
No, it's going on, but I mean, it's a huge deal.
It's good, but
It's a
it's gonna
huge
be-
deal. It's a huge
Is it a
deal.
widening? Is it a?
Yeah. All of the above, and evidently some underground stuff, right? I see.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause
like they
are-
did down Third Avenue, right in front of the
Might as
theater
well.
here. Yeah.
Because that way you can increase the amount of usage.
And you've got the
possible.
one shot to do it because if you fix
Right?
it,
Yeah.
Oh my
you don't
God.
want to go back and
Go
go, oh,
back
we've got to
and-
fix
No.
this stuff
Yeah.
I remember in
underground.
front of Jet City probably 20-some years ago. It was this. They redid Maine like 9 times in a row.
Wow.
We were just like, what is happening?
What's now?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, we forgot to put in the gas line.
once, maybe
No,
twice.
we forgot to put in a power.
yeah. Oh man, it was funny.
Oh,
Me and Deb were like, "Oh, you're doomed."
I had forgotten about Jet City.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big building with Dubtown in the corner
Yep,
now,
yep,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, those
The
are
first
days.
and main project.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Spent a lot of time there.
Oh yeah.
Hey, did you
Yeah,
guys
that
see
block,
that George Santos, now that he's no longer, he now started up a Cameo page?
He's doing cameos. Yes,
I
I saw
thought we should
that.
get him to do it for the podcast. Have him
do we
say
really
something.
want-
Yeah, like, please, I called these guys for advice, and look where it got me.
Oh, George.
I wonder what his
That's the
cost
best
is.
George Santos
It's like
that I got.
$80.
Oh man.
But
It was
Yeah.
at the personal one because
Yeah,
they have different levels.
That's the personal one, but he's also like he's not taking
yeah,
one
and
right
let's
now.
bring the dignity back to
because he-
politics.
he, like-
Can we do that, please?
He legitimately started up his Cameo like the day after he got fired,
Yeah,
and then like I bet he's just inundated with video requests.
Oh,
Well,
it's
a U.S. senator paid for a cameo from him for another senator who's under indictment. Having
no.
George Santos give him a pep talk,
Oh,
but not saying who the person is.
That's perfect.
That's
And
pretty
it
good.
just
Yeah.
kind of,
Oh,
and
my
then it was
goodness.
$200, and it was just. But they,
I don't, those are really good jobs, people. Take it seriously. Just do your job. It's a
Yeah.
good job.
It's a really good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, go.
Do you
don't
think-
be on the
Yeah.
grift.
Do you think
Yes.
he's gonna transition to being like a TikTok influencer?
I just don't think he's got that much going for him. I think now that he's been called out on his grift, It's going to be harder for him to get back into it, right?
Yeah,
But-
I think his 15 minutes, he's on about 14.55.
and I bet his lifestyle's expensive, right? So it's going to suck for a
Well, and
minute.
it's like, how do you continue to grift when now the whole world
Knows who you are.
Knows that
Exactly
you're
who you are.
Yeah, and he didn't have so much juice that he could just get mailbox money forever, right?
No.
And I'm glad he didn't, because isn't it only like 3 terms as a congressperson and you get a perpetual pension,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, whew,
Yeah, he didn't make it once.
yeah,
So.
yeah, good.
Money for life.
Could you imagine? Yeah, giving that guy money for life.
Man, Ed, the city council, that's a part-time gig, right?
It is.
Part-time, full-time gig, right?
Yes.
Because I see your Facebook, I see you guys like ribbon cuttings, and like you mentioned, just going around and meeting with people and doing all these galas, and just I'm not making it sound like it's a
You make it sound
sound
luxurious.
glorious.
He's Bruce Wayne. It's great. Knew it.
It's funny. I tell people all the time, especially younger people who I want to be an elected official. I want to do this. I went, okay, here's what you need to know. If you're in it to get fame and glory and all that stuff, you're going to be miserable, a la George Santos.
Actually, I'm just looking at his Cameo. It went up to $400.
Yeah, I
It's
get it.
$399.99 right now.
man.
If you're into it for service, you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah.
If it's like, I want to serve my community, I want to make things better than when I found it,
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it. But I was telling a colleague the other day, look, we get more bats than we do bouquets. That's just the life of an elected official. Because they were like, every time I go somewhere, someone's coming to me with a problem, and someone who's newer. I went, yeah, that's the gig.
That's kind of the gig.
Kind of
yeah.
break it to
Yeah.
you, but that's the gig.
Yeah.
But that's an opportunity to explain how the sausage is
Yes.
made, right?
Like
A little bit, because it's like you can't wiggle your nose and make everybody's problems disappear, but there's steps to making policy, and people don't get that, right? So having an opportunity to talk about, the nuts and bolts of it is nice.
So funny. I think it was last year, right before Christmas, like a couple of days before Christmas. Megan's like, oh God, I forgot to grab X, Y, and Z. And it was about to get cold and freeze because it had been snowing. And I was like, let's go to Fred Meyer. And so we go, and she's used to this happening to me. Someone recognizes me. They start talking to me. I will introduce Megan. And then she's like, I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
And she'll go.
She's gonna go get stuff done.
Yeah. And she's like, because you'll be here forever, and you'll be
man.
here forever. And so and it actually is helpful because at a certain point in the conversation, like 10, 15 minutes, I gotta go catch up to my wife. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you want to get in touch with me, here's my email address, here's my phone number, here's whatever. Happy to set up some time to meet, but I don't want to get in trouble at home.
And you're not on the clock right then. You're
Yeah.
a citizen like the other citizen, right? And
Yeah.
that's fine. So that's at your discretion, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like...
But that's our citizenry.
Hey,
Those are your
people-
constituents.
People have stopped me when we've been at dinner and other stuff, and and I'm fine with it. And my only thing is, as long as you're respectful,
Sure. Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
If you border into disrespect, then we're gonna end the conversation.
Yeah.
But
Because
as
that's
long
just
as you're
not appropriate.
respectful,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, because we're the cool thing about being a citizen of the United States is we're all the same level, right? There's not a ranking system, right? So there's no reason to be worried about it.
Idealistically, anyway.
Right? Yeah, ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ed, is there any cool happenings or pet projects that you got going on? Anything that we should know about that's happening in your world, in the world of the city council?
I mean, we've got
Too much to
there's
list.
so much going on in Renton right now. I'm so happy about the stuff that's happening in the Highlands and the housing that's going to go in. And what I'm really proud of is the big project, the Solera project. It's going to have market rate and affordable housing. They look exactly the same.
Is that up by where the strip mall used to be?
Yeah.
The old Viet.
Cross-
Yeah.
And
That's
so
a huge. It's a huge
massive.
project.
Yeah.
It's huge.
But because I've said this since my first day on council, just because you're poor doesn't mean you need to look like you live in squalor.
Sure.
So having a place where the people who are in affordable housing, their housing looks exactly like the people who are in market rate housing, and there's no caste system.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome to me.
Yeah, the subsidized housing is logical.
Yeah.
Right? It just makes sense in every which way. It really does. It's a great idea.
So just having that, I'm proud of the work that our community and economic development department's doing. I mean, we talked about...
Yeah, what's a park up there? What's a Highlands Park?
Oh, there is. You remember when we built that brand new library? Mm-hmm. We put in that big Sunset Park.
Yep, sure did.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
That park, and that's... I love our parks. I love the work that our Parks and Recreation Department is doing. The stuff that we're doing with our neighborhoods program, where we're kind of trying to do, now that we're, I guess, slowly coming out of the pandemic and people are feeling more comfortable being in the same place together, the fact that we're able to have neighbors get together and the city can roll out its infrastructure and grill some burgers or grill some hot dogs or do whatever so that neighbors can talk to each other and
break down walls.
The elected officials can come and you can talk to your elected officials. And like we did the one not far from here at Burnett Linear earlier this summer for the South Renton connection. And it was the first one that I had done since before COVID. And it felt so good to be able to just talk to people. Like, I think people demystify what we do as elected officials.
Yeah.
Because I think so often people are like, well, they're up there at City Hall and they're, doing whatever and they're the hoi polloi or whatever.
Sure.
It's like we're just residents just like you and we care about the
following
city.
specific rules to make policy.
Yeah.
Right? There's a whole, and that's good that those steps have to be taken, right? Because that's how it stays as even Steven as possible, right?
Absolutely.
But that's the deal, right? So I don't know. I think it's the more we demystify it, the better.
The better.
Honestly,
Well,
I mean, how can it? We're in a democracy. How do we not normalize politics? Right? How is it still weird? It's like,
well, I will tell you, my grandmother, who was such a perfect voter that she voted until practically she passed away at almost 100.
Oh, wow.
When I was a little boy, I grew up down the street from her in Beacon Hill. Anytime she was going to go vote, she would bring me with her because she wanted to normalize and mystify and instill that. And then as I got older, she was like, come in the booth with me. And then as I got more interested in politics, she's like, okay, tell me about these people. And so I had to, if I knew it was going to be election day, I had to make sure that I was up on my game because I knew she was going to ask me about it. And so just kind of demystifying what government does.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand it. And people equate what they see, the nonsense they see at the national level to what's happening here. And it's...
Yeah.
And we typically only hear about it when some waste, fraud, or abuse has been, some level of scandal has happened. Right?
Yeah. Like George Santos.
Sure. But most of it is just like, a lot of it is moving money from one place to another, but that's to make things happen, right? Yes. Because making things happen costs money.
Oh, everything costs
But
money.
Are you on any specific committees or anything?
I'm on way too many committees.
What's your favorite, the committee you think is about to make their thing a thing?
Well, if we're talking just Renton specific committees and council committees, next year I'll be on no committees because I'll be a council president. But this year it is, again, planning and development, where we're talking about all the zoning and all the stuff that's going on. And I'm a little envious because next year we're going to be working on the comprehensive plan, which plans out all the zoning and the growth for the city for ideally the next 10 to 12 years. And things change and there are amendments and stuff, but it's taking a look at, okay, this is what the city of Renton looks like now. this is what the city of Renton will look like in 10, 12, 15 years. And it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
to,
No,
think
it's
about
huge.
That's
what,
really-
what
and really
it's going to
important.
look like
Yeah.
and what do we need to do for parks.
Planting that tree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we need to do
Oh,
for
yeah,
parks?
water in and out,
What do we
and
need
the
to do for-
roadways.
yeah.
This, that, and there. I mean, it's everything.
And the other thing that I really love, and it's kind of funny, is near where I live up on Benson Hill, forever there was this light, because you're coming up Talbot, and if you're trying to, there's that one, I can't even remember what the name of the street is, but there's this one where you can't go straight, you can either go left or right, and down the hill or...
Oh, are you talking about the...
But the light takes forever, and if you're trying to turn left, you get stuck behind all the cars that are coming up the hill. And I had no idea that there are grades for streetlights. Like, how well do they perform? Are they queued properly? All that stuff. And so they're just things that you learn just over... Because
Oh, man.
I said to someone, I was like, why does it take so long? I said, I try to avoid that in the morning, and I try to avoid it when people are coming home from work, because I never know how long it's going to take me to get somewhere. And they're like, oh, yeah, there's a grade, and it's grade at this, and we're going to be fixing that next year. And I was like,
There you go.
oh, wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get to sit down with all the engineers, all the planning folks, all the civil engineers,
Yeah.
all that stuff, and really dive deep into what it all means, really.
But mainly, I talk to the administrators and stuff. I try to, and I'll talk to them if they come to the committee I'm in, but I try to not go too into the weeds.
Okay.
I know that there's a certain level.
And there probably is. You could
that
probably
need to
spend
stay at.
days diving
And then,
into
yeah, and then they're like, but wait a minute, but you're not a civil engineer, so why are you telling me how to do this?
So you got more of the 5,000-foot view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5,000, 7,500.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Nice. Ed, what's your favorite things about Renton? How long have you been here? You grew up on Beacon Hill.
I grew up on Beacon Hill.
I know, and I'm going to give him a little rouse because he's a Wazoo guy.
I am. So good.
And he was a president of
I was
the
president of
student body council there,
Gee.
right?
Was.
Yeah,
I was.
which is awesome because you're a political science
Major.
major.
Yes.
Oh, geez.
But that's
Did
not.
not know.
I will tell you now. I mean, I can even tell you. I didn't think that I was going to be doing any of this. So
That wasn't the reason going
that was
in.
that was not the plan.
Yeah.
I became student body president at WSU because the person who was president my freshman year, his name is Jesse Harris. He's an attorney now in Seattle. Saw me sitting in our student union building. He was like, "Hey, I think you should get involved." And so my student body president's asking me to get involved. I'm this bright-eyed freshman.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I got involved, and then I got elected president, and the rest was history. Right after Benson Hill was annexed into the city of Renton, Mayor Law appointed me to the Planning Commission. And I had no prior planning experience, but I was interested in it. About 1.5 years, 2 years after being on the Planning Commission, Rich Zwicker, former council member, lifelong Renton resident, said, "You should run for council." Alex had just been born. I was like, "There's no way." I said, "Thank you for the compliment. My wife's not going to let me out of the house
Yeah.
with a
With the baby.
almost newborn
Yeah.
baby to run for office." But, he's like, "Oh, I think you should run." I said, "How about this? You come over to the house. We'll have dinner. You ask her. She's going to tell you no. And then we'll be done with it." I said, "If somehow she tells you yes, I'm in. She's not going to tell you yes. But if she does, like on some fluke, I'll do it." So we're having dinner. Everything's good. Alex is asleep. And he's like, "I think Ed should run for council." And Megan's like, "I agree." And I went,
Man.
What? What's going on here?
So Ed's a Renton legend, but Megan's a Renton treasure.
I was like, what happened? And I looked at him and said, "I'm a man of my word. I'm in." And so,
And
and that's how it happened. Like, it was never like this so often people plan this stuff out. I think with most things in life, when they happen organically, they mean more. Then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. Because you don't enjoy the ride. You're just checking stuff off.
Sure.
You're just like, okay, I got this done. Okay, I'm going to do this now. When do you stop and enjoy the ride and smell the roses and do all that stuff?
Nice. So what would be your favorite, like, and I'm not talking because we all love the parks and stuff. I'm like, I love to go get coffee at X place.
Gosh.
And I know there's going to be a ton.
There are.
This is not disparaging against anywhere else.
No. So first, before I even talk about some of my favorite, I love the people of Renton. I love the ethic of service that you have in Renton. It is the first community that I've lived in. And I guess I've lived in Seattle, Tukwila, Pullman, and Renton. But first community I've lived in where it doesn't matter who you are, if you want to roll up your sleeves and be involved in making things better, you're welcomed with open arms. So that's the first thing. That's my favorite thing about Renton. Love going and grabbing coffee at Boon Boona. I was just there this morning.
Yeah, that gets on fire.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being in there when he first opened.
He's making it happen.
He's making it happen. Yeah. And then, usually, depending on what time of day I go down, I'm down at Boom.
Is he even 30? You know what I mean?
That's a good question.
I mean, I don't know. He's
a juggernaut.
Does he got it? Because I know he has the Seattle store now. Does he?
I want to say 3 locations. Plus.
Yeah. Wow. Good on it, man.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
What a success story.
I mean, I can barely keep like a laundry clean. It's like
folded and put away is just out of the question.
Well, it's so
it just exhausts me.
Because when I see him,
why is existence?
When I see him, he's just always on the move.
Yeah,
it's always. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah,
and so go get coffee at Boon Boona. If I'm up near the Highlands, I'll stop by Refuel, grab something. But anytime I'm at Boon Boona, especially if it's earlier in the morning, have to stop by Rain City Market. Say what's up to my guy Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny's the man.
Love Kenny.
Yeah, speaking of hustle, are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
Man. Yeah. Love Kenny. Huge shout out to Kenny and his team at Rain City Catering. They are amazing. I was in there this morning, and he was just playing all the cuts. I was like, oh my goodness, Kenny, you're on fire this morning. Melrose Grill.
Yeah.
Anytime I want a steak or something, I got to go to Melrose. I mentioned it early, Tommy's.
Oh, yeah, no, Tommy's
Love to go to Tommy's.
Tommy's great. We went there the last time I was there. It was these jokers.
Oh, yeah, no, that was good. Yeah.
Over the summer, yeah. Same thing for the last
legit.
30 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's been the same.
My first real job.
Really?
It was the Maverick. Yeah, it wasn't Tommy's. Tommy was our head cook.
That's
at
right.
The Maverick.
That's right. Yeah.
The Maverick was rough.
Yeah.
my parents should not have allowed me to work there. That place was nuts.
Well, and I know the former owners of Tommy's.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Because they were involved with the Benson Bruins, where Alex played football, and so I knew Kim and the dad and all that. And when they retired and they sold it, I haven't really met the new people yet, but I was just there maybe 3-4 months ago. Anytime my in-laws come to town, they're like, "Can we go to Tommy's?"
Nice.
So we'll go to Tommy's, grab breakfast. I used to before. Slightly controversial. Used to go to the Yankee Grill. Mm-hmm. Go to the Yankee Grill, grab a turkey sandwich or grab whatever, and in fact, for a while
they had pot roast.
I love that.
I know.
Pot roast. I don't know what it is. Something about pot roast and meatloaf and stuff like that.
Good. And plus, it's stuff. I think because we never make it at home.
Yeah, but it makes you think about like being a kid.
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna have this. I'm trying to.
Dude, that's a great idea.
I love. I just for the first time last week did steak night up at the Pickled Onion.
Nice.
That was amazing. I had never been there before for a steak night. Uncle Moe's.
No, yeah, right.
Uncle Moe's is amazing.
No, I know the Pickled Onion. We ordered from there before.
Whistle Stop is amazing.
Whistle Stop's great.
Yeah.
Love,
Yeah, no, we just did breakfast there last week.
Yeah. And Actually, if I had to pick a local place I like, is the Local has really good burgers.
They do.
Oh,
Yeah, they do.
local, yes.
Yeah, local sound.
And Monday night is their open mic comedy, so that's always
Oh
fun.
yeah. Yeah. Is it PG-13 or?
I mean, most of the time it's a bar, so
Sure.
they're not holding back.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I do love the list that Ed gave us was all food.
Yes. Yes, it was.
It speaks to my heart.
And our stomach.
Renton is rich in restaurants.
Yeah.
We
It
have
really
for some
is.
time. And diverse types, but a really cool quality. And the place I was trying to remember is the Hop Garden.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The Hop Garden. They're
Garden.
doing live, like touring musicians. Like a lady was up from California.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a thing.
Do they have a stage in there and stuff?
Yeah, I haven't been there yet.
Okay.
gotta
And I
go
really
there.
want to try the Crawfish House.
I haven't been in there yet either.
That
I
took
don't-
forever to open, and we kept looking at it. I was
Yeah,
like,
man,
I
that
don't know.
building was
Crawfish
rough.
House?
Yeah, it's where the Dynasty's East used to be, right by the new grade school.
Right by
Yes, right by
Satori.
Yep.
Okay.
Just kitty
Yeah,
corner
across
that.
the
It's
street.
it's a crawfish.
Oh, okay. I think I know what one you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's that old Louisiana crawfish boil where they.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have
Mix everything in there.
like a shrimp on the outside on the side.
Yes, the crawfish.
Yep, it's a crawfish. Yeah.
Crawfish, yeah.
Yeah.
Crustaceans. And plus, I try to eat animals that would eat me. You know what I mean?
And a crawfish is probably
it's
on that
guilt
list.
free, and a crawfish would.
So what is the
if you-
difference between shrimp and crawfish?
One's
then?
freshwater and one's saltwater. Kind of and somewhat briny, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's crawfish in the Cedar River.
Yeah.
I used to get them when I was
Oh,
a
yeah,
kid
yeah.
all the time, just wading around.
Well, and it's funny
Looking
because
for
you
crustaceans.
think of crawfish, you think of the South.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do.
But, you know.
I bet they're in larger numbers for sure,
Yeah.
right? I would think.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I will say about this, you mentioned the Cedar River. I
it's the
love the
best.
Cedar River.
It's the best.
My first year on council, there's this body, quasi-governmental body. They meet at the golf course once a month, called the Cedar River Council. Their job is to work on and protecting the Cedar River. And my first year, they took me on a tour of the Cedar River.
Oh.
So, down here, the Cedar River is just kind of relaxing and quiet and whatever. If you go, east, it is a violent river. I was like, holy smokes.
yeah.
I did not expect that it would be.
Oh yeah.
It's
It changes a course right next to a major highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's out there now? Is that King County doing a bunch of shore reclamation and native
Yes.
plantings?
Yes.
Here in Renton?
Yeah, just up Maple Valley Highway. a little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, and then of course you have the issue with the asphalt plant.
Yeah.
and that-
Oh, sure.
they-
Which is,
that-
I mean, come on, doy. That's a no doy. Come on, people, don't be silly. This isn't 1820,
Yeah.
right? And it was a dumb idea then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's a dumber idea now. Stop
Well-
it. Just stop.
and I know we've got to move on, but I will say we had an issue at the beginning of this year. Have you heard about these battery energy storage sites? They're these huge storage sites of
It's a great idea. It's an
Batteries.
inevitable idea. Yeah.
but they were going to put it right behind the Maplewood Glen neighborhood. If the thing had caught on fire,
Well, and it's a floodplain.
yeah, but if
Right.
they had the land, if the thing had caught on fire, the neighborhood would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were like, yeah, you can't. The neighbors came and talked to us, and they were really concerned because they're worried about their homes, which everyone's worried
and,
about.
and I mean, it should be in that case, just like any other technology, be cost effective and must be cost effective enough for it to be its own protected zone,
Yes.
right? It's like, and if it can't do that, then it can't exist.
Yeah,
And that all jumps into zoning for
Yes.
the council, right? Yep.
Yes, and that's why
Yeah,
it came
yeah.
to us, and so they were not doing it there anymore because we put in a quick moratorium to make it where they couldn't, and they moved it to a different community that I'm not going to get into.
Was it for that community's own use?
No, it was
okay.
for-
Yeah, then why don't they move that to the warehouse district or
Just for
something? You know what
private-
I mean?
it
Because
was
you can
for
bury
private
that.
companies'
Yeah,
use. It wasn't
no, bury that underground and then put warehouses on top. Right? Nobody lives there, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are
But I think that kind of thing is coming.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to find a way to twist that into a positive.
we have to
Right.
figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
It has to be safe.
Because it's coming. It's
Right.
coming. We are diversifying.
So it was going to be used
Yeah.
for a company to use as their power supply?
I don't know if it was their power supply or not. At that part, I'm not clear on, but it was not the city of Renton
Right.
Yeah, having a storage
site
to run a pump house or whatever it might be. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a private company that was trying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And we were like, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Not
that's
so
why
much.
there's residential and there's non-residential, and that's a forest, and you know what I mean. It's like that's a bad place to have. Yeah, that's a bad place.
And
to
you know, like this summer, my neighbor, I think 5 houses down from me, their house caught on fire.
Bummer.
Like it was like there had been no rain, so it was dry. And I had gone to bed like somewhat early. I was really tired. I remember it was a Thursday night. I'd gone to bed, and I'm like dead to the world sleep. And Alex burst into my room. He's like, "There's a fire in the house." There was no.
Instinct, yeah.
I'm like in the house. Like what? And he's like, no. And so he's like, "Come to my room." And I go to his room, and I can see it out of his window. And I've never seen a house just engulfed in flames.
Wow.
And the reason he even knew is he had his window open because it was summer. He was on the phone with his girlfriend, which is still weird to me. And he heard someone screaming, "Help, help."
Wow.
And so he looked out of his window and he saw that house, and then he came and woke me up, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And
Man.
I went and woke up Megan. I was like, "Hey, there's a fire." And before I could get down the street, she said the same thing I did in the house. I'm like, "No." But I
In the neighborhood,
Rule,
that's
don't
close
yell.
enough.
Don't yell fire while Dad's sleeping.
I
That's
had just scared the hell out of me. But and I think about losing your home
oh man.
because of
terrible.
something,
Just terrible.
and then know, so that was putting something like that in a residential area. Bad idea.
Yeah. Well, right on, man. Well, we're happy to have you here.
Happy to be
We
here.
love Renton. We love being here in Renton. We're all well, Mike's not really. He will be soon, but
Yeah,
he's close
You know what?
enough.
No,
Yeah,
Mike,
no, that's kinda like-
Mike,
Close enough.
Mike is you said I'm a Renton institution. Mike is
Mike is
geez,
really
yeah.
a Renton.
No, and I spent
like-
my time in Renton.
I feel like we need to.
And I did grow up in Bryn Mawr. I still Renton School District.
Yeah.
Right?
like Tonkin
I
Park.
still throw rocks
Is
at my
Bryn Mawr
dad.
Renton School District?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Tonkin Park. We need to put a statue of Mike.
Right there.
Right next to the ass. So it could just be yeah. yeah. But then it's kind of like
Mike's like
art,
leaning down, looking up
Yeah, yeah.
at the butt.
I think it should be a statue
Square.
of his sideburns.
Oh man,
there
yeah,
you
just
go.
alone. Yeah. Yeah, where will they go when I'm gone? Yeah.
We're gonna bronze him.
Oh man. No, it's really good to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Do you got time to continue on?
And,
do
you,
have
and
some
you
time,
brought,
absolutely.
you're famously a proponent of art in the city. I'll thank you for that personally.
Art is to me a very important and vital part of civic life.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't have art, and I mean all forms of art,
Sure.
you don't really have a diverse society.
Sure. And the ability for the citizens to experience.
Yeah,
it.
like-
right. Yeah, like even the cosplay. What was the King Con?
King Con, yeah.
King Con stuff like that. That's
Yeah,
a type of art. That's a modern expression that I think is great. And Renton jumped right in front on that.
Are you a nerd? Are you a pop culture geek kind of thing?
Marvel or DC? We'll start at the basics.
Ed is three things.
Like Star Wars or
he's
Star Trek.
family,
Oh, yeah.
he's Renton, and he's football. That's what I
Oh,
know.
sure. Yeah.
So Marvel or DC, I've had a long-term love of Superman.
All right.
And so,
yeah, fair enough.
from that standpoint, I love DC, but I love Wolverine.
Yeah, right on.
Dude, are
Yeah.
you excited for Deadpool 3?
I am.
Oh no, that'll be
They-
great.
they- They recently leaked. Somebody leaked some photos from the new Deadpool movie just recently, to the point where Ryan Reynolds went to Instagram and says, "I know we're all excited, but can we stop leaking photos, please?"
No, I am excited for
Give the
that.
movie away.
But I grew up when I was a really little kid. Loved Superman. As I got older, loved Wolverine. So I have love for both. Like I'm not a oh, DC sucks, Marvel rules.
Sure.
Marvel sucks,
It's
DC
it's a
rules.
false.
Yeah. Like, I'm
false
like, you can
dichotomy.
like both. Like,
Right?
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Who says
you
can't
can.
like
No.
both?
Yeah.
Well,
There you go, being reasonable again.
multifaceted human being.
Do the kids are the kids into the?
Alex is a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, Carrington's more Disney focused.
Okay, all right.
Like
Because she's
9.
Oh, geez, perfect. That's a good age for that.
More Disney focused, and we went to Disney.
Now, is it like the Disney princesses or just in general Disney?
Heavy on the princesses, but anything Disney. Like, we went to Disneyland a couple of days after the election. I think the Sunday after the election.
Wow,
I
nice.
was like, look, I've been gone, and even when I was here, I wasn't mentally here because when you're running for office, it's like it's all consuming. And I remember near the end of the campaign, I was like, I am so tired. And I was like, it feels like I have like a third or fourth full-time job because you're always thinking about it. And so being able to get away with them and Megan for 4 days and enjoying Disneyland and just kind of reconnecting and all that stuff was really fun. Like, I will say, above and beyond any of the stuff that I do, I love being a dad.
Right on.
Even though my kids drive me crazy.
Yep.
Especially the oldest
Yeah.
one.
What's the princess du jour for Carrington? What's the go-to?
So Tiana, there's a ranking.
Okay.
So Tiana, Elsa, Snow White.
Yeah.
I can't remember who.
Yeah, she's kicking it old school.
Yeah,
Some of-
Oh yeah, she. Moana.
Yeah.
You know, Moana wasn't really a princess, but she.
I think Moana was a
Yeah, she's
princess, and I
technically.
like that movie.
She was, Pacific Islander princess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you gone and seen the new? What's the new one? The one with
Wish.
Wish
It just came out. Yeah.
came out.
No,
they haven't been bugged to go.
Not yet.
Not yet,
No,
okay.
I think.
Jeez, yeah, got
I
the
think
scoop.
after Disneyland, it was kind of.
Okay. Is it in theaters yet?
I think it came out last Friday, or
Okay.
if it's not out last Friday, it's out this Friday.
Okay.
Coming out really soon. But I think this summer is when the the ride that's going to become Tiana's ride.
The frog. It's at Disneyland. They're
Yeah,
gonna do-
Disneyland. It was the Splash Mountain, I think it was.
Yes.
Oh, and they're changing that.
And I remember everybody like posting photos and videos of them taking their last ride on Splash Mountain.
Wow.
Like, it's going to be the same ride. They're just
It's
changing
the same-
the.
Hopefully they'll change the water out of that joint.
Add a little bleach.
Oh, I will tell you guys, the first ride we did on the first day, and I hadn't been to Disneyland in forever. The first ride we did on the first day was Space Mountain. I forgot how crazy Space Mountain was.
Right? I lost my hat on that ride.
Wow.
I didn't put it in the bag like I should have. I had it in my lap thinking that would be fine.
No, that ride is
Gone.
Super. I mean, you're whipping left and right, up and down. You're like, and it's complete darkness. You cannot see anything.
Oh man, I'm not the one.
Yeah, no, you
not
make
a
sure if you
roller
have a
coaster
hat
guy.
or you have anything loose on you, you put it in the bag in front of you because it will go bye-bye.
Yes.
Because you make a 90-degree turn at least once. Yeah.
Well, and then the other one was not the Indiana Jones. It was the Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's a good one, too.
That was a good ride too.
Yeah.
Yeah, how were crowds?
So we stayed on property, so we got early access.
All right.
So which allowed us to at least get one ride in before they opened it up to the crowds. And the other thing is that Megan researched that if you go on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, less crowds.
Oh, there you go. All right.
There you go.
Right in the middle of the week.
There's your Disneyland tip if you're gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
right.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So
That's
we
good advice. Huh.
flew in on a Sunday.
That was smart. When I went was on my 50th birthday, so 2 years ago, and we were there Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we went over to Universal. But yeah.
Like even there, like when we would get there, you get a false sense of security when you get there early. I'm like, oh, this is nice. And by about 11:30, you're like, oh my.
Yeah. It starts getting
Where did all these people come
really
from?
crowded.
Yeah.
They move a lot of humans through there really well, though.
Right.
I've been there one time, but
It is- yeah.
but it blew my mind how
they
really
and
did.
it's
And you don't
super
see
clean.
aggravated people.
And it's super
Yeah.
clean. It's like
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
see.
You don't see the cleaning crew at all. They're in and
No.
out with.
It's the ghosts.
They're like in, out, and They're-
And there's not a guy with a clicker losing his mind trying to keep count.
Nope, it's just like shoot.
yeah.
Yeah, one dude with a notebook. Nice.
Tap 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 tap. No, did you know that they when you're on like Main Street, all the smells that you smell
Yes.
are artificially pumped
Oh.
onto the street to get people to go inside.
Okay. I was going to bug you about creating a Our Town Day,
Yeah.
celebration day, but I
Like
think
a proclamation?
proclamation. But I think Todd's idea of pumping, different smells. Can we?
Well, what's the Our
I
Town
don't
smell?
know.
Crayfish.
Yeah, I say oil,
Sweat and
grease
desperation.
pig.
Oh my goodness.
So you're saying Axe body spray?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, we're not doing
hey,
it.
there's a whole generation of
Oh, it's
men
amazing.
who
I mean, what's that doing to their nasal passages? Is there
grew up on
is there a
Axe body
long-term
spray.
study? Yeah.
They won't have to shave out their nose, right? They won't have to trim their nose.
Axe-
hair.
And I remember, back in the 80s with the bangs, the Aquanet
Oh,
bangs.
the
or whatever,
Aquanets!
And they were concerned about the ozone layer. They're like, you're CFCs, ladies.
I saw-
Destroying life on Earth. And so they went, all right, we'll get flat hair again.
I saw a thing on social media where a young lady was spraying her hair with the hairspray. And it was like, people in the 80s, how did you get your hair to get so big? And
Yeah.
someone's like, yeah, the hairspray you're using now is not the hairspray
Not
that
the
they
same
used in the
thing.
80s. It's
Yeah.
totally different.
There's a couple of
Hugging like ants.
yeah.
there's a couple girls on TikTok that are like every time they go live they do like the full 80s hair and they have like posters on the wall. I was like, this looks like the bedroom of friends that I had back in school.
So cool.
Nice.
But they're easily like not even 25 yet.
Wow.
But they're all dressed like they're like from the 80s. And
Well,
shit.
they say every.
Everything goes retro.
Yeah.
nice.
Rich.
Like, I remember this was maybe 10, 12 years ago. People were wearing bell bottoms again.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't need those anymore.
Some trends we don't need to bring
They don't
back,
need
but,
it anymore. We lived it once.
Yeah.
So when do you think that the yoga pants are going to become like huge again, or are they still huge?
I thought they were still a thing.
Still kind of.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
I thought they were starting
My
to go
wife
away.
had a couple of
Which is how we defeat the Taliban.
is yoga pants.
Yoga pants. I'm
We
telling
send
you.
those TikTok yoga,
pants.
the
That's how
booty
you
hugging
win.
yoga,
That's how
yoga
hearts and
pants.
minds.
You know what I'm talking about?
Nuh-uh.
There was these were made popular on TikTok. They're basically like these yoga pants that like grip.
Yo, I
the
know
butt-
what you're
the
talking. I
butt
can't remember
cheeks.
what they were
Oh,
called.
sure,
They were
yeah,
called.
They were just called TikTok yoga
Well,
pants,
it's-
from what I
it's-
remember.
There was a different name for
Oh, was there?
but yeah.
But yeah, they basically give you a permanent butt crack, and it's some women it looks great, others not so much.
I don't know. I'll give myself a pair and you guys can judge.
Yeah, there's a few guys who did that too, where they.
Yeah.
I got these for my wife, but I had to try them on first.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm sure
take
that
some
was
of
it, right? It's like, what
Yeah,
is it
right,
in Nacho
right.
Libre, where it's all, sometimes people like to be in their rooms and put on their stretchy pants.
I'm looking at
Jack
your
Black.
water bottle and it's taking me back. Mystery Science Theater.
Yes. Are you a MS?
Yes.
C3K?
Yes.
Okay.
And Star Wars or Star Trek? I think someone asked me. Mm-hmm. A little bit of both. Although
Yeah.
we taught Star Wars, like I said, Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I am Star Wars classic.
Yeah.
So you didn't like the new version of
I did not like
of Lando.
I did not like it, but I think I'm just so
Yeah.
hooked on the classic.
And I
three.
think for us, it was our age and how it hit us at the time.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's like-
yeah.
And I've never, and I don't want to, sit down and critically watch Star Wars.
I try
right?
not
because
to.
it's just been such a positive, imagination boost in my
Right.
life that
Yeah.
I don't want to look at it that way.
Yes.
Right? I just don't want it.
Well,
So,
and it's funny. So when Megan and I got married almost 20 years ago, we went on a cruise for our honeymoon. And one of the little things you could do on the boat when we were out at sea was TV theme songs.
that's what I'm talking about.
And so I was born in the 70s, so like they were playing all these theme songs, and I was like, it's this. She's like, how do you know? I was like, I watched a lot of TV when I was a little kid. There wasn't.
I was lucky.
There wasn't. I mean, there were 3 channels. And I watched.
But yeah, there wasn't much of a choice between what you can watch. It was either soaps, Bob Barker, or
Perry Mason reruns.
or Perry
Well, that was
Mason.
the great thing was the syndication stuff.
Yeah.
Well, then after like in the evening, if you only had one TV, you were watching what your parents were watching.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're watching, a lot of, I Love Boat.
The old Zenith in the living room with the giant TV that took
The wood panel TV.
the one that took 5 people to move.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where-
Tubes after tubes.
The kid was the remote because
Oh, yeah.
You ever turn the channel? But Mom, I want to watch Different Strokes.
Well, and I remember growing up here, we were lucky when cable came in. They had that channel out of Vancouver.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
I can't remember
12.
12. It was
12.
12.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Different Strokes would come on there, so I could watch
Right
Different
on.
Strokes.
Yeah.
And CBC News and
CBC
stuff.
News. Yeah.
Ah,
And
Canada.
then
Yeah.
that's where I discovered. I think that's where I found Monty Python for the first time too.
And Benny Hill.
Benny Hill.
Oh, yeah,
I was just going to say Benny
Oh, my
Hill.
God.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so, I mean, it is so dumb.
that was the-
And it's just, and they're so proudly dumb that it's wonderful.
You would never be able to get away with Benny Hill in 2023.
Oh, my God.
No, I mean they kind of. I mean that kind of vibe
yeah.
is on like Family Guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's
as
animated.
a parody, though, right?
And it's, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
mean,
like
parody of it.
I mean, Stewie, whenever he did his dance party thing, was basically a
that's
lift.
true, yeah.
It was lifted from Benny Hill.
Yeah.
So
Go back
Oh my
and
God,
watch
it's
some old
great.
Benny Hill on YouTube or something.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, some more BritBox or something, right? That's great.
it's probably on BritBox, if anything,
Yeah.
or even
And I don't just British comedies in general, especially in the 70s, because they'd be on Channel 9 or whatever. Channel 9's begging for our money or whatever. And then they put some weird, some weird
like
British
faulty towers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
and that's
that.
how I discovered
awesome.
Red Dwarf was
Oh, yeah.
Channel 9's
Sure. No,
Megathons,
absolutely.
where
Oh,
like,
yeah.
George would come on and say, "Yeah, we're going to show you this great comedy from Britain. You'll if you like it, send us some money." And I'm sitting there watching, going, "What is this?
No, it's
this is
great.
amazing,
Yeah.
funny. It's like Star Trek, but with humor. Oh my God, this is great."
And even cheaper sets.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
it wasn't quite
Yeah.
Doctor Who cheap, but it was close.
Yeah, it's pretty
Man.
close. It's great.
Well, speaking of classic TV, we had a famous person die. Was it yesterday, Todd? that
Yesterday,
passed away? Norman Lear, 101.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. But the madness, the madman, the genius behind like Archie Bunker and the Jeffersons and geez, what am I forgetting? Sanford and Son.
Every great
all the
sitcom in the
great
80s
shows.
and the 70s and even in the 90s, I think.
And bold comedy for the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Bold,
really was.
bold,
Yeah.
bold in
Yeah,
general.
but
They redid a couple of episodes live on TV in the last 5 years. He and Jimmy Kimmel did like the Jeffersons, and they did All in the Family with like a live cast, and he had Woody Harrelson play Archie Bunker.
Oh,
And-
I remember hearing about
And
that.
Jamie Foxx was Mr. Jefferson.
Nice.
It was great. Oh my God, it was hilarious.
I gotta say, I'm a bigger Jeffersons fan than Archie Bunker. I like Archie Bunker, but I didn't really get into it. But George Jefferson, Sherman Hemsley, freaking genius. That guy didn't start acting until he was like in his 40s or something,
Yeah.
and he got
Great
that
ensemble.
role.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
God! And that show was just so awesome.
Yeah.
I loved him in that show, and then when, like I said, I grew up down the street from my grandmother. So on Saturday night, sometimes I'd go stay at her place,
Right?
and he was on the show called Amen,
That was a good show too. Yeah,
and
he was a minister in that one, right?
yeah, or a deacon or something.
Yeah.
You know, that would come on right before Golden Girls.
Right. Yeah.
We always got the
Was he also on T27 as well?
no, but
A lot of the same people were on those two shows. I think.
Marla
Marla Gibbs.
Yes, she was the maid.
Jack A too, I think,
sorry.
was on both shows. I think.
I know.
Jack A may have done
Oh.
some crossover.
Yeah, Jack A was everywhere in the 80s, man. And she was that bombshell. right?
Yeah.
And just like, wow, man. Anyway, I'll take a few minutes with that later.
The Golden Girls. I mean,
Did Norman Lear do the Golden Girls?
I don't know.
No,
I don't remember. He probably during the pandemic there was a Zoom live reading of an episode of the Golden Girls with an all black cast, which was amazing because it had a couple of the women from was it Grownish?
Oh yeah, or Blackish.
Blackish, that's the one. I'm thinking
Grownish
of the
is one
original
of
one, not the
the-
spin-off
yeah.
series.
Blackish.
Yeah. So she's the daughter of Donna Summer.
Oh, Tracy. No, Tracy. Diana Ross.
Diana Ross. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Ross. Yeah.
But and then a couple others I recognized, but I can't think of their names. But yeah, it was great. I actually paid to watch it because it's like this is going to be good. I mean, this is something they should do. They should do like an updated version of the show and kind of.
Okay, you just made me think about when you said that. You brought up Diana Ross in relation to Tracy Ellis. I'm thinking about 8 tracks and all that
Right.
stuff from like the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That like the mute. I don't know. And tell me I'm wrong. There's a better era of music than the 70s.
I agree. Yeah.
Like
I
just
break
like
the 70s
diverse
up, though.
Music. What?
I break the 70s up. So for me, like the late 60s and early 70s, especially in rock and roll and R&B, kind of fit together. And then there's sort of this mid 70s through the late 70s that is that stadium rock and then disco. Because R&B went real disco for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Donna
there was some
Summer.
good Donna Summer and stuff like that. I mean, Marvin Gaye was doing great stuff until he died, which was still that, God, I can't think of the name of the album he did. But anyway, yeah, I sort of break it
Well,
up. So,
and then there was funk.
Yeah, I was going to mention
about-
funk as well. I didn't get into funk until like the late '90s when I discovered that all the great hip hop from the '90s was basically sampling all this great music from the '70s. And
Parliament, Funkadelic,
George Clinton, yeah.
Arcades, George Clinton.
Bootsy.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the things I learned when I went into that deep dive of funk is that Parliament and Funkadelic were two separate bands run by the same guy and the same band even, but they were in two different labels. And because they wore masks, the people who run the labels didn't know that they were the band and the
Get away
other
with it,
company. So they had contracts on I don't remember what labels they were, but so he was doing it on both labels and similar music even. But yeah,
Wow.
George Clinton is just
he's fantastic.
fantastic, man. Definitely. 70s were a time. I don't know, man. I don't know if
I mean,
my
but then I'm
favorite era,
also,
but-
And that's also a little bit of sentimentality. thrown
yeah,
in
but
there.
I'm also a fan of some of the stuff that came out in the 90s.
Sure.
Like, I feel like the 90s became, the late 80s, early 90s was the golden age of hip hop.
Yes.
Like,
Right on.
the
Yes.
golden age of hip hop.
I know, and what's weird is for Christmas, I just got my daughter a Tupac shirt and a Tupac Funko Pop because that's her favorite artist right now. And
Really? Wow.
Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg. I mean, she has fallen into this early 90s hip hop vibe, and I'm digging it. I'm like,
Yeah.
She's like, Dad, what's your favorite Tupac song? And I'm like, Picture Me Rolling. And so she's, Alexa. And I'm sitting there rapping along with it, and she's looking at me like,
What?
Alex had that that iconic Biggie Smalls shirt where he's got the crown on.
oh, as
Yeah.
the baby? Or, oh, no, as the adult.
And the I think it's like the Cosby sweater. I don't even remember what those sweaters are called.
They're called Cosby sweaters,
Yeah.
but they really are.
Yeah, the Cosby sweater and the crown, and I was like, what do you know about Biggie Smalls? And he was like,
Yeah, geez, that's the best part of the internet, right? Is you can go.
Have you taken them to EMP? They have that Mopop.
Mopop?
They have that. They did at the time. Last time I was there, they had a whole room of hip hop photography throughout the years, and it basically starts, with the early days, and you work your way down the room. It takes it all the way to today. It's a fantastic learning experience, and just for me, it's fun because I just, oh my God, look at
Right.
well, and I will admit that I'm getting old. I'm almost 50. Some of the stuff my son.
Almost.
Somebody.
No,
We're all in our 50s now.
No, because I'm saying I listen to some of the stuff that Alex listened to. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
But the other thing about the 70s, and again, it's probably some sentimentality, there was musicality. Like,
Sure,
you had
sure.
artists who played multiple instruments.
Yeah,
Right.
Like, you weren't doing everything.
I mean, Prince played everything.
Everything.
Oh my God,
Everything.
Prince.
Yeah.
And I think
But he's
isn't his
also,
first.
I mean, he's so many cuts above
yes.
regular
He
humans.
also his first couple albums were like he did all the parts, and then he, when he needed to go on tour, he got a touring band. I think.
That kind of.
The
I think
Revolution.
Lisa and what's her face wrote a few songs or came up with some of the stuff, but Prince was, like Mike said, on another friggin' planet.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like Prince and Michael Jackson were
Yes.
on different stratospheres.
Yeah.
yeah.
I have to say, though, Prince, I think, wrote everything. Michael was a genius in the way he moved, in the way he used the music. I don't think he
That
wrote most
performance
of
part
his
of it.
stuff, did he?
I don't think he did, but also just kind of his mind for the business.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
The music,
the look, the everything.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, how many kids did you see walking around wearing the fake Thriller jacket?
I had one.
or the
Yeah, no,
fake,
it's
I had one. I had one.
The
or the
glove.
fake Billie Jean jacket.
So cool.
I had the
Yeah.
Thriller jacket, and I had the parachute pants and all that shit.
Maybe
back
it was
Yeah.
Beat It. Maybe it was the Beat It jacket. The fake
I mean,
with
the
all the
Thriller was
zippers.
Yeah.
unreal.
I didn't have that. I had the
Unreal.
Thriller jacket
Yeah.
though. My mom was like, "I'm
Yeah,
not
with the
buying you a
zippers
leather
like that.
jacket."
Yeah.
So she found a like a pleather jacket that had the same design.
My
on it.
cousin had the Thriller one. I had the Beat It one. Like,
Nice.
you just and back then they had the socks that kind of looked like the.
That's a go. That's how we beat the Soviets, people. Are you kidding me?
I was
Our
actually.
children are wearing stuff like that. It filled with joy.
Do you guys remember where you were when you heard that Michael died?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was actually a volunteer at the EMP at the information desk, and like the minute it was announced, like we had I had like 5 people from news stations. Do you guys have anything of Michael Jackson in the museum? I'm like, I mean, it's in the archive, sure, not on display. And it's like, hold on a second, I'll go grab the curator and have you talk to him because he knows a lot more about this stuff than I do. So yeah, and that day was packed full of people coming through.
Yeah.
So I remember I came home and I turned on the TV right as they said breaking news. Michael Jackson's died. And I was like, what? Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness.
Shock.
It
Yeah.
felt like I remember where I was when Prince died. Like,
Right?
Yeah.
I was sitting at my computer, getting ready to do something, and the alert popped up on my phone. And I have a friend; she is a Prince nut. And I called her. I'm like, "Hey, how are you doing?" She's like, "Why? What's up?" I said,
Oh man, you had to break the news.
Yeah.
"I said Prince died." She's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Like and she's like, "Oh, I'm up now. I'm going to read everything." And
Yeah, and I would argue that both of those artists never had to die, and they were abetted in their death by
Yes.
cruel and evil doctors.
I agree with that.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly agree.
The Dr. Feelgood. It's cruel and
Right.
really jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think actually I had not seen Purple Rain until after he died.
Oh,
And
wow.
Yeah.
I went because they I think it was AMC had it in theaters right after he died. Just
Probably the best soundtrack.
Oh man.
fantastic soundtrack. I can't say that I really enjoyed the movie as much as I did the soundtrack.
Oh, the movie was fun, but
And
I mean, when
especially
you
at the time.
when you
Well-
take Morris Day,
Sure.
I mean, he is just oh my god, Morris is just fantastic.
Every time I see Morris Day, I think about the bird.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
for sure.
Yes.
That's great. And just the whole bit is fantastic.
Oh yeah, the whole.
I did
I
enjoy
saw that at the
fan
Roxy.
service.
That's where I saw it.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I did enjoy Morris Day's appearance in Jane and Silent Bob Strike Back though.
Yeah.
Nice. Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is funnier than people give it credit for.
That's peak 80s.
Yeah, it is peak 80s. It really
I didn't
Yeah,
realize
what else
that-
do we have? Night of the Comet. You know what I mean? It's like, come
Dude.
on. Purple Rain's,
Oh,
Night of the Comet, the girls, both the girls and I think one of the guys from that movie were at SummerCon last year.
Oh, geez, that's cool.
Yeah.
Was that there?
Was the guy Chakotay from
Yes.
Deep Space? Okay.
Yes.
Geez, good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of peak,
Yeah, no, I saw that at the Roxy also.
I think next year. I think it's next year. They're doing a new Beverly Hills Cop
Yes. Yep.
with Eddie Murphy
Yep.
as the father and his son.
Do they just
Nice.
take Beverly Hills Cop 3 and just sort of that didn't exist kind of a thing?
Gonna Highlander 2 that, huh?
Yeah.
Hey,
Because the first two were great. I mean,
First two were
friggin' Eddie
amazing.
Murphy is just.
Which one was
Reinhold?
3?
Yeah.
He was in the fake Disneyland.
Yeah.
And he was like hanging from.
I like that one okay. I haven't seen those in so long. I couldn't
been
tell
a
you how
while.
good or bad it was, but
no, 1 was, 2 was, 3 was.
2 was with Brigitte Nielsen.
Nielsen.
Right?
geez.
didn't it also have Chris
Has a villain,
Rock
or
in
is-
it too? Wasn't Chris Rock?
Rock in that?
And the third one?
Marlon Wayans was in.
I think-
like not a cam because I don't think he
I
had
don't
made it
know.
big by then, but
Was Chris Rock in the third one? I'm gonna have to go look it up.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
just
maybe
remember-
it was.
I'm just saying, but I know he was in New Jack City.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, yeah,
I,
Pookie.
There was,
Yeah, but that's
yeah.
it's not funny.
no. I mean, he was brilliant.
Yeah, I know it's a
as
good
Pookie,
movie, but it's a rough movie.
It's a rough movie. Yeah.
That's Mario Van Peebles, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
Where's Mario
Man,
been?
I don't know.
No.
Whoever
talk
he
about-
wants to be.
probably
He's
a
like on the
director
top
and
10 most
producer.
beautiful humans of all time.
Yeah, I was
That guy
going to
does
say,
whatever
talk
he
about
wants.
Billy D.
Like him
Williams.
and- yeah.
Mario Van Peebles
Oh, yeah.
is just
Forget it.
Wow.
Like almost 8.
And his dad was stage,
Yes.
screen. He was a triple threat guy.
Yeah.
He was really good.
yeah.
But that's how many triple threat people do you see now? Like now, I feel like we're in the age
Well,
of the
I don't know.
influencer.
Well, we got Gaga, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
She's
we're in
for
the
real.
age of the
Beyonce's
influencer.
everything,
Yeah.
and then
Well, that's
also
true.
a business tycoon
Yes.
and.
yeah.
I think we still do. Humans are totally capable, and just because we are inundated with media and everything, the bar just keeps getting raised. You know?
Yeah, it's, well, it's
So
funny when
I
I
almost
was
feel bad for people who want to achieve things.
when I was driving over here. I was listening to I can't remember who I was listening to Timex Social Club Rumors, and I was like, God, I was like, you know what? When I was a kid, I didn't know anything about these people's personal lives.
Yeah.
And I was like,
You're sitting reading the liner notes of your CD or your cassette.
but you don't.
Or
you
you're
didn't
getting,
know,
like,
you didn't know they were
Cream
getting a divorce.
magazine.
You didn't know if they were going through
Yeah.
this. You didn't know they went through rehab. You didn't
Right.
know any of that stuff.
Right.
And I think you enjoyed it more because you weren't knowing all.
Or we would just fill it in with weird rumors. You know what I
that was
mean?
the-
I'd
that
always
was the
believe
song.
that Vince Neil was the reason that the drummer from Def Leppard
Lost
had
his arm?
but it was really the guy from Hanoi Rocks.
I didn't know
that
there was.
in the,
I didn't know there
that
was a.
Vince Neil killed in the.
Yeah.
You didn't know this?
No, I didn't know
Another
anything
reason
about
I hate
that.
Vince Neil, but
Oh.
a whole nother subject. Yeah.
Oh, geez, no, I didn't know that. I didn't know he got.
Yeah, but I always thought
yeah.
it was because I'd heard, you got in. I thought that was the reason that can't remember his name, but the Def Leppard guy,
the Def Leppard
lost
guy.
his arm. But
Yeah, no.
how you doing on time? You good?
I've got a few more minutes.
Okay. We're
Yeah,
just
so we can stop talking about Def Leppard.
Hey, I'm having a blast.
Mike and I talked about that. Another celebrity death, and you guys may or may not know this. Shane MacGowan of the Pogues, an Irish sort of Celtic punk rock band.
Yeah.
But the song you would hear today, because it's Christmas time, is probably "Fairy Tale of New York."
Oh, yeah.
and it's that real gravelly sort of Tom Waits
Yep, I
voice.
know exactly the song you're talking
Yeah,
about.
so he passed away at 65, which
Oh,
is
yeah, no,
way
that
too
guy's great.
young.
Yeah.
Long illness had, but a title like this, Pogue Mahone, it was named after Pogue Mahone, which actually means
Kiss my ass.
well, fuck you, motherfucker, is basically the
No,
translation.
kiss my ass.
I'm pretty sure it's fuck you, motherfucker.
I'm Irish. It's kiss my ass.
Okay, we'll look it up later. But they shortened it to the Pogues. But just a great band. Had a huge album in like '85 and released several good albums since then. But sorry to see him pass. We talked about George Santos. We talked about Norman Lear. Did you guys hear just today that Kevin McCarthy, is
Leaving
going?
Congress.
He's not going to
Leaving
run for
Congress.
re-election.
Yeah. Well, he's not only not going to run for re-election.
Oh, is he stepping down?
stepping down?
Oh, he's resigning.
I wonder what's going on.
Oh my goodness.
He is
well,
stepping down.
Well,
saw
I
that.
guess the psychos hurt his feelings.
yeah.
Right? Because he really really, had the ambition to be speaker, and I guess he was.
Well,
But
maybe
it's
they can keep doing that. Maybe they can get.
I don't. Well, we
the
need to
new
get
guy
rid
to
of the psycho
resign.
wing. We got to. We disempower. Right. We can't.
And that's the thing that's so
It's got to stop.
disappointing about politics is now, especially you model what you see. And it's like, oh, you disagree with me? I hate you, and they hate everything you stand for.
Yeah.
Versus, I might not agree with you on this, but maybe I'll agree with you on the next.
Well, and how do we have to be goal oriented.
Yeah.
Right? It's like there are a lot of things that need to, especially on every level. But the idea is to get things done,
Yeah.
right? And so, solutions to problems and goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know. But that type of fame is addictive.
Yeah.
Right, and social media has just exacerbated that to where
Get those
you
dopamine hits.
You really do. It's a thing. So people feel that fame and power and are the same, and it can be. It's just we need to bring dignity back to public.
I mean, how much fame and power are you feeling?
I know.
Oh, I mean, you got
Did your ego just go?
through the roof.
Yeah, it's.
Hey,
yeah,
honey,
yeah,
you got to
I
take
mean,
out the garbage.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
ego deflator.
I know.
But I think about it, and it's like you got to do this stuff for the right reason.
Yeah.
You're gonna crash and burn.
Yeah, as Mike always says, and he says this probably every time we talk politics, it's a good job, right?
It's a good job.
Being a congressman,
Yeah, yep,
being
yep,
a senator,
yep.
just getting that trust from your constituents
yeah,
to get
you're rolling
into office.
the ball in a direction, right?
And it's not bad pay. And
No.
it's
Sure,
definitely
sure,
not bad
yeah.
benefits.
No, and it
Maybe
can be
3 years.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got a
Yep.
lifetime pension.
Yeah. But speaking of Congress and the Senate, Tommy Tuberville is finally decided to allow the armed forces, what do you call it? God, I lost my train of thought.
He was the military holds.
Yes, he was blocking the
military promotion.
the promotions. That's the word I was looking for. And he was doing it for a long time. So he says he's going to go ahead and keep doing it for like the top 12 or something promotions that are still sitting on his desk, but all the lower ones he's going to let go through. And the whole reason he was doing this is because the armed forces said, we're not going to restrict abortion, people going out of state,
traveling too. Yeah.
traveling for, and it's just like,
Yeah, and that's problematic on a number of levels.
Yes.
Right wingers, anybody, not right now it's right wingers, but who want to legislate without legislation are a problem.
Yeah.
Right? That's not the proper step.
you're making your own
to change
rules.
rules. If you
Yeah.
don't like the rules,
Yeah.
right? Then you go through the steps to change the rules.
Go through the process. You follow
and
the
B,
process.
an American wanting to limit the mobility of another American.
yeah.
Geez, that's funny. That sounds a lot like communist China, where you have to have certain permits to move to the city, right? To
There it is.
That was my fault. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
I bumped the power supply for the board, and yeah.
Well, you see, Mr. Prince, if we would have had that battery backup station
There you go.
right along the Cedar River,
Plugged directly
we
into
could've just-
Todd's
yes.
board. Yeah.
There was
That
a
never
saying
would
that back in during the Roman Empire, that the might of the Roman dynasty was so mighty that a Roman citizen could go anywhere in the world and say, "I'm a Roman citizen," and they would not be impeded or detained because people were so worried about the power of the Roman Empire. But you're right. If you want to restrict the movement of another American
yeah, no,
citizen,
that's not cool. man.
problematic.
Yeah.
big
With, I mean, and yes, it is.
Big time.
Yeah, no, and obviously non-constitutional, right?
Nah, not at all.
can't.
So why is the senator talking like that?
Yeah.
Right?
The Constitution
'Cause there's-
only counts when it's the things that you care about.
Yeah.
For some people.
Because there's senatorial rules that allowed him to do this. They could have passed the promotions, but they would have had to do it one at a time, and it would have taken months and months and months to get through instead of just
Filibuster them,
yeah,
and it would-
yeah, just
I mean, you're
crazy.
playing with people's futures.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be the party of hugging the armed forces, right? They're supposed to be the support party that
Well, I just think about those families and like the promotion.
Sure.
Yes.
You more income, you're able to take care of your family,
Sure.
and all that stuff, and it's like,
Well, and the
And,
nuts
and
and bolts,
the military
right?
is
Yeah.
a giant machine,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And you got to keep it moving, right?
Yeah.
You got to keep
Yeah.
the machine moving. Man, just note for everybody picking up noise in the background, we say this all the time. We are in a working theater,
Yep.
RentonCivicTheater.org. Go there. It's Tech Week. They are starting a production of The Full Monty.
Full Monty.
Yeah.
Starting tomorrow night, I believe, right?
No, it'll be next week. This is Tech Week.
Oh, this is Tech Week.
Yeah.
You're right. So don't go there.
I'm surprised
Don't come
they
down.
didn't ask us to be part of the dancers.
Oh my
well,
God.
of course, but I told him we were busy with the podcast.
Yeah.
It'll be
Mike ruined
the
it.
Full Monty 2, Our Town Return.
The parody.
Yeah,
2.5 because
yeah.
Anytime
Man.
someone
Yeah,
says-
nobody wants that. I'm telling you. If I could get an OnlyFans, I would have. Come on, people.
Oh,
I'm
it's
a
all your
practical
stalkers,
person.
Mike. It's all
Yeah.
your stalkers.
anytime somebody says to, I think about break into Electric Boogaloo.
Nice.
Right?
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually recently watched that in the last couple of years. It's been so long since I don't remember half of what happened in that movie. I just remember the title of the movie, honestly. But
Is
great.
Ray Don Chong in that one?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I do know that
another treasure.
Yeah,
One
oh
of the-
yeah. Quest for Fire.
Yes.
He's great in Quest for Fire.
One of the things that trivia that I know about the two main dancers in that movie, they were the guys who did the robot versions of Bill and Ted in the second movie.
Oh.
That's why they were doing the robot the whole time.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no dance movies, right? I'm trying to think of an example, but
Oh, that's come out.
yeah, there are
recently?
the Pitch Perfect movies.
There's a lot of
Climber
dance.
and I saw one of those.
Those are great.
We were
I like
traveling.
them
No, it was
all.
great.
I've
No,
seen
we
all
laughed.
three of them.
We laughed.
Yeah.
We were traveling somewhere.
There was actually a TV series spin-off about one of the characters that was on, I think it's on Paramount. Or no, Peacock. And it only had one season. So, but,
It just seems like times are peaceful when you have movies about like dancing.
I don't know. I'm going to skip ahead on some of our notes just because we've been having such a good discussion. There is a Vulcan Centaur rocket that is about to take off from Cape Canaveral on December 24th. It will have the remains and DNA samples of 338 people. My understanding is going to go to the moon, and its main mission is to drop off like a lunar rover up there for the next manned moon mission.
Okay.
But part of what's going up there, part of who's going up there is Nichelle Nichols, DeForest Kelley, and James Doohan. Their remains, part of their remains, are all going to go up to the moon and be deposited, which I think is very cool.
Right.
All Star Trek from the original series. Yeah, pretty cool. They finally get to go to space. I'm sure some of them have gone to space.
James Doohan, after he died, was some of his remains went up on the next shuttle launch.
Okay. And he was a resident up here. His wife is still in the area and is a big supporter of this here.
Yeah.
Renton
Yeah, I
Civic
remember
Theater.
he'd be at Lewis and Clark theaters when
Yeah.
the news
Lewis and Clark
came out. Yeah,
Theater.
Really?
that was
my
like he would do a guest appearance out there.
Man.
Yeah, I knew a guy who ran into him at I'm not going to say the city because I don't want people going out there looking for his wife and whatnot. But he used to bump into him all the time, going out and shopping and stuff. And he, there was one time I guess they were both waiting for a pizza, and this buddy of mine is like, it took me almost 20 minutes before I just looked over and said, I appreciate what you do. I love your.
Oh, he couldn't talk to him for like 20 minutes.
He was like petrified. He was going to like say something stupid or and Mr. Doohan was very nice and hey, yeah, cool. And they started talking. Next thing you know, they're both talking about horses and I guess James and his wife have a ranch out there and had horses and they became friends. And when he died, this friend of mine, he posted a huge thing on social media about how his friend James had passed away, and it was a sad day for him and whatnot.
Yeah, he's a World War II hero, I believe.
Yeah.
Just a fascinating life that guy had. Beam me up, Scotty. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, who makes the Vulcan Centaur rocket?
I don't know. I think it's a private kind of. I don't.
Oh.
think isn't that Mr. Amazon that has those rockets?
is he
Bezos? Is it Bezos?
Bezos,
Is that
yeah.
a Bezos thing? Okay, I know it's not an X thing. So
Yeah, I think those are Bezos rockets.
I didn't know they had rockets big enough to do that. Moon's a long ways out.
It is,
and
really is.
I mean, it's got to get,
Well, we're supposed to be.
because they need to land that in a pretty specific spot. So, but they can just huck it once they get out. And,
Last I heard, the plan was to go back to the moon in 2025.
is
So-
it 5?
Geez,
Yeah, I knew
for
it was
the
coming
United
up.
States to do so.
Yeah, they've already picked the team.
Did not know
and
that.
everything.
God, we're still going to start hearing more things about it being faked.
the big cheese.
Yeah.
The flat
I heard.
moon.
Yeah, that's where the pigeons are from.
It's on the sound stage.
Nazi base in the behind in
oh my God!
dark side of the moon.
Have you guys seen that movie about the Nazis?
Is that
from-
Iron
Yeah.
Sky?
Iron Sky
Oh
is
my God.
it's such a it's I don't want to say it's great, but it's very funny in that it pokes fun at like those conspiracy
Yeah.
theories and how in this movie the Nazis did land on the moon, on the dark side of the moon, and then they're starting to have some infrastructure problems, so they decided to go back to Earth to kind of reacquire some technology.
Infrastructure problem, like we can't grow corn.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something to that effect where they had to go back to Earth to get supplies or whatever, and I don't want to ruin anything for you guys, but you definitely
don't spoil it.
You definitely want to see that movie. There's actually a sequel, which is even. I don't even want to say bad, but they're like B-rated films.
It's a B-rated movie. It's a well done B-rated movie.
It's better than Sharknado, but it's still pretty cringy to
And
watch.
it sort of reminds me. What was the guy that did all the B movies back? The Barbarian movie. Was it Corman?
Roger Corman.
Roger Corman. It kind of reminds me.
Yeah,
of something
it has Roger Corman vibe to it.
Yeah.
And it was because there's Nazis on space, and the woman who comes to Earth sees her first black man, and that whole sequence was so funny.
Nazis on space.
Nazis in space is always hilarious. Todd will like this. Excuse me. That Star Wars has infected the English language.
What?
A new research paper from Chemnitz University of Technology in Germany. They did a whole paper on this explaining how the vocabulary from Star Wars has become essential components of human communication. For example, the word Jedi. Right?
Yeah.
It occurs more than 4 times per million words.
Wow.
So can you imagine a million words that are spoken? Jedi comes up 4 times in that. What they did was they collected 520 million English words that they've been used in speech, writing, academic studies, TV, and film between 1990 and 2015. And they looked for words such as Padawan, lightsaber, Yoda, and to the dark side. And it's become just part of our lexicon here in the U.S. Like, come to the dark side, right? I mean,
or don't.
How many times have you, if you think about it, do you...
No, a lot.
Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
But I'm also curious on how they receive funding to do this study.
Right?
Hook me up, bro. I'll give you all the words you need.
I just think about a young Jedi.
Oh man,
That's true. Because you always hear about those studies of like how fast ketchup runs down a certain angle and stuff.
Wait, what?
I got $1 million to study how fast Heinz ketchup and Kraft ketchup.
At what angle you have to smack the bottle for it to come out?
Exactly. Got to do studies on everything. Yeah.
Yeah, this is before Chat GPT. It's going to end up finding us new tasks.
Man.
Bummer.
Oh, geez. Well, speaking of Star Wars, there's a couple of new shows coming out.
Acolyte.
Do you watch the Disney Star Wars shows at all?
Occasionally.
Occasionally, are you up on some of them? Andor. What's the one with
Ahsoka.
Stuff like no. Okay, well you're missing out, dude.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan
I've
was
been a little
really
busy
good.
the last
Nah,
year.
I know.
So I will. I got to catch up.
They've got one called The Acolyte coming out. Todd probably knows more about this, but it's set during the High Republic area, which is about a century before the events of Phantom Menace. And later, of course, the Skywalker saga. It'll show the Jedi Order at the height of its powers. So I'm really pleased with this because I want to see more Star Wars stories outside of the Skywalker saga. I really like the Skywalker saga, but you've got long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, you could tell stories for thousands of years, right? So this is pretty cool. I think it's coming out, Todd, late 24? I think.
I think like fall of next year. Yeah.
Any word on cast or anything?
I haven't even looked into it. The High Republic stuff, that's mostly from like the extended universe, and there was also a video game series about it, which is like the lightsabers they had were like like actual blades with like electricity like spinning around it and stuff. So they didn't have like the cool glowy glow stick. Yeah, they were basically like that one lightsaber at the end of Ahsoka, where it was a blade that had like electricity kind of spinning off of it.
Yeah, there's a name for that. I forgot.
I can't remember either, but yeah.
I saw a list of names starring in it. Didn't recognize one of them.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be a bunch of like new faces.
Yeah.
We're not going to know any of those actors.
But we may also get the second season of Andor. We talked about that.
Andor was good television.
I really liked Andor.
Yeah.
That'll probably come out sometime in 2024. And there's another new series called Skeleton Crew. And my understanding is that it's going to take place on some kind of freighter or some kind of ship, and it'll be run by a bunch of young people, like teenagers that are running this ship, and it'll probably be out on the outer rim, and it probably won't have a lot to do with the politics of stuff. And so another show that kind of
and also Jude Law evidently is in that show.
Oh, is he really?
Isn't Jude Law in Skeleton Crew?
I have no idea. I haven't heard of Skeleton Crew. Actually, I think I've seen the artwork, like the logo of it, but I haven't heard anything else about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And the last news that I had was I thought this was kind of interesting because isn't it a Reese's Pieces? But a new M&M flavor coming out in 2024 is peanut butter M&Ms.
That's not new.
I said it was new coming out in 2024. Not peanut M&M.
No. Peanut butter is the orange bag that says M&M. That's been around for a while now.
Oh, maybe they changed the formula or something. It's going to be a bigger M&M. It's going to be
they're about the size of the peanut M&Ms, but it's just filled with peanut butter.
It's Reese's Pieces to me.
It's a Reese's Pieces to me.
I mean, essentially it's the same thing as Reese's Pieces, but like double the size.
Chocolate,
That's interesting because they said it was brand new and it was coming out in 2024, not 2023.
Yeah, so would there still be chocolate involved in that, or would it just be the candy shell and peanut butter
inside? Shell and then a little bit of chocolate and then the peanut butter.
Yeah. That's what I mean, I had a bag of it like 3 months ago.
That technology is beyond. Maybe we're the test market or something.
Hey, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll try.
I think M&M's. We did top 10 candies in the U.S., right?
We did,
and M&M's was not as high as I would have thought.
No,
I remember
it was up
right.
there, but it wasn't number one.
What was number one?
I think it was.
As soon as it loads up.
And it wasn't Snickers either.
It was Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Yeah.
That is underrated, yeah.
Huh.
Peanut Butter Family says. There you go.
Yeah, they said 2024. I don't know. I'm going to go back and check because I tend to believe everything I read on the internet. So
you also might want to look at the date on that article.
It said 2024, Todd. It said coming out in 2024. So
somebody may have been pulling a fun.
Yeah. You good?
I better go.
You got to go?
All
Okay. We're going to pause the show for a minute and say goodbye to our good friend Ed Prince. Thank you for being here with us, man.
This has been awesome.
Anytime you want to come back.
And anytime you guys will have me, this has been awesome.
And just let us know when we should come down to City Hall and receive our Town Podcast Day.
Yeah. The key to the city or something. One of those giant cardboard ones would be awesome.
Oh,
it'd just be great.
Like the Public Pictures Clearinghouse.
I would settle for having our logo on one of the fire hydrants.
Oh, geez.
No, I think that's the Arts Commission.
I think that's an Arts Commission.
I think Mike knows someone that can.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, geez, it hadn't crossed
Climber
my
be
mind.
like-
Get a big power box or whatever. Can we get the Goodyear blimp to roll over?
Climber would be like, no.
Unfortunately, I can't do that. Yeah.
All right, Ed.
Hey,
thanks for coming
it's
in.
been
We're going to
awesome.
take a quick break and we'll come right back.
Yes.
And we're back.
Well,
That was easy. Thanks again, Ed, for coming in. If you listen to this show,
Yeah,
that's
thanks.
nice.
we are going to look at
Oh.
new movies as we do. I think we decided to do this every first show of the month. New movies coming out in December, and I know a little bit about a few of these. Some of them I'm a little behind, so I'm going to count on Todd to hopefully clue us in. Godzilla -1 actually came out, if you're watching this, like
last
4
week.
days ago or something. So
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know anything about it. I know there's a Godzilla show we talked about on Apple TV.
Yeah.
Is this in the canon? Is this follow the
No idea.
Godzilla versus King Kong? Is this
I
something
assume
different?
it does. It's actually, I don't know. I haven't really heard much about it.
Yeah, I really
I've
don't
been
know.
getting a lot of messages from the Regal app about it, so I'm probably gonna go see it this weekend.
I bet it's a cool big screen movie,
Yeah.
right? It's still
Yeah,
Godzilla killing, just whooping the shit out of something.
Yeah,
Sounds
it
like
looks
a-
like it came out on the 1st, so yeah, it should be out.
It sounds like a Japanese movie production company, and I don't know if that's the same company that's been doing the.
I mean, it might be the company that actually owns.
Like Toyo.
Yeah, I think it might be the company that actually owns Godzilla, and this is their version of the big screen version that we've seen a couple times in the last
Which
I'd
I'd really enjoyed the Godzilla v Kong, which evidently there's a part 2 en route.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
because it's just an enjoyable popcorn, big picture movie. You know, it's
I went and saw it with Romeo and Marianne and her son Kyle, and Romeo and Kyle were like, "Man, it's fucked up that Godzilla just or King Kong was just sitting there not doing anything." I was like, "Wait, no, they both took turns whooping ass. It wasn't like one just sat back and just took a beating."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a tag team. You got to wait outside the ring to get tagged in. Even the guy's getting clubbed by a chair.
Touch my hand.
I mean, it's when you have characters from two different companies working together in a movie, no one's going to lose.
Well, they're bringing all this into a universe, right?
Yeah,
and
they're
it's
trying to,
Godzilla, it's King
Monsterverse,
Kong,
yeah.
and who is it? Just all the Kong
Yeah,
or
King
the
Ghidorah and
yeah.
and
All
I
the-
think the
all
stuff
the
Godzilla
Godzilla
monsters.
monsters.
and
Yeah.
the stuff from Kong's terribly violent world, right? Oh man, the first Peter Jackson one,
Yeah.
where the island
Jack
natives
Black and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
where they just kind of appear out of nowhere. The residents, oh man, it's fantastic because
Yeah.
they're standing there the whole time, but you don't see them until you see them. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, and they go on the giant like pole vaulters to invade the
right,
ship
to get
oh
over the-
yeah,
yeah.
because it's I mean,
God, it's been years since I.
yeah, it's a cool
Yeah.
movie. I should revisit that.
I remember
And
playing the
Andy
video game
Serkis.
too.
Oh, geez. Who do you play Kong, or you try to get off the
Oh,
island?
I think you're trying to get off the
Yeah.
island. It was Andy Serkis is the Kong, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, what a guy.
That was the movie. They kept like parts of the miniatures from that movie, and they had it for a long time at Universal Studios as part of the tour.
Oh,
And
God.
you'd see like the wall and the ship and on the water.
We almost last time we were in Hawaii almost took the tour of the ranch where a lot of like Lost was filmed, the TV show, and the Godzilla was filmed, and they have like the big giant bone structures. You
That's
see the
cool.
bones and
Yeah.
all that, and you get your
Nice.
picture took for your Instacred and all that stuff. But
Jeez.
we ended up not doing it.
Yeah, geez, Godzilla's been part of my life, my whole life. Since
Yeah.
I guess before I was born.
I
right?
remember
Since it was a dude in
watching.
a rubber suit.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember watching them on Sunday afternoon
Sure.
on like Channel 11. Wasn't
Yeah,
that
the
when
rubber
they-
suit movies. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, with all the miniature
Oh, yeah.
towns
So
and
good.
stuff.
Yeah, and that was real employment.
Yeah.
Remember, people?
Yeah.
Somebody's building all those sets and all
Oh,
those
man.
dioramas.
All
It's
the
like
little miniatures
Oh,
and
yeah, with
everything.
exploding
Yeah.
high tension wires and shit. It's great.
Oh yeah, when he walks across the power lines. and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
Oh,
I mean that stuff all has to be
That's
set up to
very
trigger,
cool.
and I
Yeah.
bet there's a
Yeah.
lot of yelling on those sets. There's a lot of yelling.
unfortunately, it's in Japanese, and we
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
what they're saying.
Oh man,
I always liked how Godzilla's yell just sounded like someone like recorded like an old rusty like gate opening and just slowed it way down.
Yeah, he's got a lot more expression in his face nowadays.
Yeah.
You can tell when he's pissed. Or,
Yeah.
You know.
The new Godzilla definitely looks like he's been bench pressing the Chrysler
he's
building.
because he just wants to be Mr. Apex. I think I fell asleep twice during the Ghidorah one, the Kill All All Monsters.
Oh yeah.
Attack All Monsters, whatever it was, the one that was a few movies back, but I just fell asleep like during the main boss fight with
Not at the
Ghidorah.
theater, though, right?
Yeah.
I just remember.
I don't know. I think I might
Ghidorah
have.
was the one that had like the 3 heads, right?
Yeah.
Well, all I remember about that movie is like each head. It was like the Three Stooges. There was like the angry one. There was like the serious one and the goofy one.
Yeah.
You know.
Nice.
And I think they're regenerative. I think Ghidorah can regenerate. When I was a kid, I sent away for a Ghidorah model from the back of a comic book, and man, I just felt like that thing took like 2 years to get to me. It just every day waiting by the mailbox and shit,
Until you give
and
up.
it's just not showing up.
So did it ever show?
Yeah, I think, but I don't think I got Ghidorah. They sent me something else.
Geez.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was bummed.
The other thing I remember about that is how those 3 heads, the goofy one, the serious one, and the angry one, became a meme for a while for different things.
It was like Kickstarter. They needed a bunch of kids to send in the money until they got the money enough to make them.
Make a mold, one mold. We offer you 60 different choices. We got one.
Yeah. I mean, Hasbro still does stuff like that. I paid for the new HasLab thing for Ghostbusters.
Oh, yes, you did. Right.
I mean, it's coming out off my card next Monday, but I probably won't see it till this time next year.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, there you go. Yeah, because they have to.
They have to make them.
Wow.
You know, once they get the funding for it, and I think they just dropped a video about what they're going to look like and what we're getting, and it sounds like.
Is that a limited edition thing where they make a total of 5,000 or 50,000?
They're not going to make only so many of them, and then that's it. Yeah, they're
that's totally
not
cool.
going to mass produce it. They're just making it for the people who put into the crowdfunding. And if you like Ghostbusters, you have this weekend to go onto the Hasbro Pulse app to reserve your Ghost Trap and your PKE meter. Because you get both of them in this thing, and it's like $300.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Nice. Well, I think Todd talked about this one. I remember talking about it somewhere. Also came out a few days ago, Candy Cane Lane with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it like the day. I watched it on the 2nd because it came out like the day before I watched it.
Yeah,
it was very funny.
Quick review. You liked it?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I think if you haven't seen it, you should see it because it's Eddie Murphy and it's a holiday movie.
I like the actor that plays the mean elf. That kind of curses him. I don't know the whole storyline, but it sounds like they put a hex on.
She's like she's an elf and she's like trying to punish people, I guess is the thing. And if you ask for a wish, she'll give it to you, but you're basically signing if you're unable to do something with that wish, then she gets you become like a little action figure for this little Christmas village that she has in her store.
All right.
Yeah.
But a good job by Eddie because he's had some clunkers.
I enjoyed it. It was it's a holiday film, so there's going to be a certain amount of cheese to it, and I enjoyed it. It's probably going to be a movie I'll watch every year.
And that's Amazon, right?
It's on Amazon Prime, Prime Video.
Coming to Netflix in a few days on the 8th is a movie called Leave the World Behind, and this is Ethan Hawke, this is Julia Roberts, and I think a national treasure, Mahershala Ali. Did I say his name right?
No. That sounds right. That's the guy who's going to be playing Blade in the MCU.
Yeah, I think he's
keep teasing us with it.
a brilliant actor. I think he's
he's in the yes, True Detective.
Yes, True Detective was great in that. He was the Alzheimer's kind of thing, or the dementia at the end there. Yeah, so my understanding is that Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts are a married couple, and they take a Airbnb vacation, and then the owners, who is Mahershala Ali and his daughter, I don't know the actor, come to the house and sort of claim that the whole world is ending. Internet shut down, power shut down, water supplies, just everything everything's shutting down and nobody really knows what's happening. But I mean, it's a very talented cast, so
Yeah, geez.
I'm hoping the storyline is good. But that comes out on the 8th on Netflix. And I don't know, Todd, is this a prequel? But Wonka is coming out on the 15th. Is this a prequel to the Johnny Depp Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
It's a prequel to all the other movies that have been out already.
This is where Wonka sort of gets his start as a chocolatier.
This is you know how in the Johnny Depp version you get a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah,
how
it shows him through the jungle or whatever.
You're going to see more of that information as far as what I've understood anyway.
Finds the Oompa Loompas and all
Yeah,
that.
and it's that kid from Dune.
Yeah. Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, and it's got Hugh.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh
right?
Grant.
Yeah.
Yes,
Grant
as
is
the
playing.
Oompa
Hugh Grant is
Loompa.
playing the Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, I feel like that kid has played Wonka before. Am I not?
I think he did it on SNL as a before he got the job. I think he did kind of a. I think I could be wrong. I don't know.
Geez, all right. I don't remember seeing the Johnny Depp one.
I just rewatched it yesterday, and it's a Tim Burton film. So it's got elements of very dark stuff.
If you
in it.
enjoy Depp and Burton together,
You're going to enjoy it. Yeah. Deep Roy plays all the Oompa Loompas, which I think is one of my favorite parts of that movie. Is all the different Oompa Loompa scenes that you get.
Yeah.
And who's playing that?
Deep Roy.
Oh,
You know, he's the guy that rides the snail on the Neverending Story.
yeah. Geez, I don't. Yeah.
He's been in a bunch of things.
If you see his face, you'd probably
you'd recognize him if you saw him. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's one coming out, and I think again this might be Netflix.
I think this is, yeah.
But Rebel Moon, Part 1, Child of Fire, comes out on the 22nd, and this is this based on a novel? Is that
No, this is a Zach.
Original.
It's original, but this is a movie he was going to make for Lucasfilm, but then for whatever reason they decided not to do that.
So did he write this whole? And this is like a world building or
this was going to be
building?
his Star Wars movie.
Okay,
and then that got shit canned. He's like, you know what? I like this story. I'm still going to do it.
Okay, so this would have been Rey.
This would have been a kind of a side story. It wouldn't have been part of the Skywalker saga. I don't think.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. And this is part 1, so I'm assuming that this is going to be a trilogy. I think. Right?
It's made by the guy who did all the DCEU movies. Zack
Snyder. Oh yeah.
Snyder. Yeah.
300 and Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
No,
tons of
I
good
like
stuff.
that guy a lot.
Yeah.
I think he does that dynamic filmmaking really well. So I think something like this would suit him really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, geez, this is neck and neck competition with Dune, so the bar is high.
Yeah,
right?
There's been a lot in the online lately of him, people asking James Gunn if he'll ever have him direct any of the DCU movies, and I haven't seen the response. I don't know if he said yeah or no or whatever, but
Geez, I think
it'd be
Snyder's
great if he was at least allowed to come up with something different other than what he's already doing before. But I liked his DC movie, so I would like to see him do more.
yeah. And Mike, do we agree this was Netflix?
I think it is. I think it is. I don't remember. I mean,
Love the fact that I can get it on Netflix.
Yeah, totally.
No,
For a
good.
super high, I mean, it's $200 million production, and I'm still confused on how these on their paid channels, but really they've got budgets for this?
For that kind of...
Like the Amazon one, they don't care because they have all of the money.
Yeah.
Right? But Netflix has to...
Yeah, it's going to be on Leave the World Behind. No, that's not what I was looking for. What was that?
Rebel Moon.
Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
Which was my...
Right? Does my $12 a month or whatever
Really?
with everybody else's
I don't know.
$12?
And every other production they're making, and the teams of lawyers that they have.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it happens. I really
writers,
don't.
and that's not even talking about just running the website.
Yeah, it's going to be on Netflix.
All right.
All right.
Rebel Moon.
Release
Who's the
date?
lead lady? Who is that?
Sophia Bartella.
Oh, yes, it is.
Bartella?
Right on. She's cool.
Yeah, it comes out on the 15th.
She's in a Star Trek movie, too.
Oh, the 15th. I had the 22nd on my list.
Oh, never mind. It says UK. That could be the UK.
UK.
release date.
friggin' you.
Well, that's Greenwich Mean Time. That's why it's mean.
Mike might like this one because he's a wrestling fan, and I don't know much about it other than a couple of the actors that are in it. But the Iron Claw comes out on the 22nd, and this is the Zac Efron as a wrestler, and kid from Shameless and The Bear. I can't remember his name. He's also part. It's a family of wrestlers. I mean, is it based on? It's based on a real life thing.
I saw a trailer for it, and he's fucking jacked in this movie.
Efron,
I mean, he really bulked up for that movie. And but it looked like it could be a good movie. I mean, there's a show on Epix or Epix or whatever it's called Heels. It felt like it's the same type of thing where it's a family of people who run a
not the super big time wrestling, but
it's like the
local
regional stuff.
Regional stuff.
I mean,
which I think is great. Right, there's like 3. I mean, year-round clubs up here, and I bed down in like Atlanta.
I haven't been to any of the local stuff.
Oh, it's fantastic, man! Oh my god!
The only time I've ever gone to a wrestling thing was back in early 2000s. I was like 2007. I got free tickets to go to a WWE event, and that was the first time I saw Batista ever.
Oh, right on.
And he was just massive. He walked right past me.
Right on.
It's like, that guy is huge. My God, wrestlers are big.
Man.
Okay.
Here's a animated movie coming out on the same day. It's called Migration, and it's about I think a duck family that is migrating or doesn't migrate, I think.
Oh, nice.
Like they stick at the pond. Like they're the only family that stays at the pond and doesn't migrate until they decide to, and they end up in the city.
Yeah, all I remember is I think the dad is like super anxious and like anxiety ridden and shit, and he's like doesn't want his kids to get hurt. And I think it's Illumination that does it. It's the same people that did the Minions and Despicable Me.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the Canadian Goose.
I remember seeing it as a
Park.
I remember seeing it as a preview in front of some movie I just watched recently.
Yeah, it looks like a cute movie. That's what I saw from it too. Is the preview?
Yeah, it'll be one of those ones. And once it comes out free somewhere, I'll probably.
I mean, I have the Regal Unlimited thing, so I'll probably see it through that. I mean, I pay $23 a month, and I can go see whatever.
Nice.
And it'll be one of those
as
movies.
many. It really is unlimited.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I mean, the problem I come across is there's not a lot of movies I want to see.
Sure.
So there's a bunch of movies that'll be playing at the theaters. Like, I don't have any interest in seeing those, but I could go see them if I really wanted to. It just don't.
It's a great place during the summer months, especially to just hide from the heat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I totally. Yeah, I'm all about doing that, especially when it's really hot. Actually, a few years back, I was like, "Hey, we should go see a movie," and somebody goes, "Movies are like a wintertime thing." I was like, "Since when, dude? You know how hot it is outside? You know how cool a theater is?"
Yeah, they're pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Pretty good about it.
Yeah. Here's one I know Todd is waiting on the edge of his seat to see Amber Heard in is Aquaman and the Last Kingdom.
Oh, you mean the movie she's not going to be in?
Is she not going to be in it at all?
I think her part has been reduced.
Saw like a split second.
Yeah, that's probably all you're going to see of her in the movie.
She should get eaten by the megalodon. That's what I have to do.
Jason Statham's like, I'm not going to kick it in the nose.
I'll kick it right after.
I actually did see that movie, and Meg 2 was actually pretty good. It was cheeseball stuff, but it was really
great,
good.
though. It's super. I mean, it's great.
I mean, just him being chased by a megalodon in his
and then like literally like punching them and shit.
He's like
great.
He's on a CD running, trying to escape this thing, and it like comes up, and he just like, pop.
So good.
Kicks it in the nose and then keeps going.
So good.
Yeah. I don't know. This is going to be the end of the DECU, right?
This is the last one.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And this one has Momoa as Aquaman, but he goes and gets his brother, who is played by
that guy.
The bad guy from the first movie.
Yeah.
But it's played by
Patrick something.
Patrick. Damn it. I mean, you'll know him.
Yeah, he was in the other movie too. Yeah.
And
but
the blonde-haired, blue-eyed stepbrother who hates him.
Right. But they team up, right?
From the trailer I saw, it looks like he goes and releases him from his isolation or his exile, and says, "I need your help." And he's like, "So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping it is as good as it looks in the trailers because there's been a bunch of reshoots, and I think the reshoots are to remove Amber Heard's character.
And tied up. Any idea who's directing this?
It's the same guy that did the first one. I think it's Wu, James Wu or Wan.
Yep. All right.
All right. On the 22nd that comes out.
Wait.
Here's an interesting one.
Oh, this hurts my soul.
Well, I love the first movie. I love the book. If you ever get a chance to read the book is awesome.
Sure.
But The Color Purple
Yes.
is coming out 12/15. It's going to be a musical
That's
adaptation.
one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Well, I don't know because the first movie was very musical, right? Do you remember them going into the juke joint?
It's church play.
But it's not a.
It's not a musical.
It's not a musical.
Yeah.
So
it
I
shows
don't.
that music, has an impact on people's lives. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I mean,
Oh my God! Not everything has to be a musical, people.
I agree, but I actually might go see this one. I haven't seen the other one.
I'm curious to see
It's
it.
an incredible
The first
film.
one was
It's incredible.
incredible.
Isn't that the one that had
Oh, my
LeVar
goodness.
Burton being like whipped and stuff?
No,
That's right.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I just remember it being a movie from the
No,
early
but
80s.
it's got
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg was- that's where
Danny
she got her-
was
Glover.
fantastic in it.
Oh yeah, no, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Lawrence
It's incredible.
Fishburne. Did you say
Yeah,
that?
No, I said
yeah,
Danny.
wasn't that Oprah's first movie too?
Yeah, but yeah,
I think
she does
so.
a great job.
She's
Oh yeah, no, it's
fantastic.
incredible.
in
No,
that.
it's a great movie.
Fantastic.
I saw
in
that in India.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Musical adaptation.
I don't. Yeah, who am I? No, nobody cares.
I don't
to say
know.
about
I'm going to
it.
watch it. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go pay for it, but
I don't know. I just say
Yeah.
dude, make a new show.
Yeah.
Why does it have to? Why would you adapt something? Just leave it alone.
And I
don't
think
know.
Spielberg
But I
was-
also joke about that all the time. That such and such should be a musical. Nuremberg Trials, the musical. You know what I mean?
Is that our next radio parody?
I actually was watching the final few episodes of Doom Patrol, and one of the episodes was a musical, and I was like, maybe this isn't the entire show, so I skip ahead a
Sure,
minute
yeah.
or two, and thinking that the song would be over. No, a new song started.
Yeah, no, Star
The
Trek.
whole from
yeah.
start to finish, it was a
Yeah.
musical. I'm like, I really don't need to see
Yeah.
this as a musical.
Yeah.
So
And
Some
God
of
bless. And if actors get to branch out a little bit,
Yeah.
stretch their legs, God bless.
Do you guys
God
remember
bless.
Cop Rock?
Yeah.
Kinda feels like
I
that,
remember
right?
the ads for it. I never watched it. You know,
Man.
the thing I will say about that episode is everybody can or could sing.
Nice.
It wasn't like
Yeah.
watching that episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where half the people didn't sing right or they couldn't sing. Where you're like, oh my God, will you shut up and just talk?
Yeah.
You don't need to be singing. You don't have a singing voice. Stop singing.
Oh, man. All right, and well, finally on my list here, coming out Christmas Day. If anybody goes to the movies on Christmas, is Ferrari, which is about Ferrari. It's about is it Enzo Ferrari?
Like
Is that the origin
original
of the car?
I
family?
think it's the origin
Geez,
of
there you
him
go.
getting the
Yeah.
car off the ground. And this is, I know Adam Driver is in it. I'm not sure if he's playing the main role or what. But this was the movie that he was on a press junket and somebody came up and was like, hey, the some of the scenes look really fake and the, kind of look crappy on this. And he's like, what do you have to say about that? He's like, fuck you.
Nice.
I think it's also the same press junket where he's like, so, you're kind of an unconventional, good-looking guy, how do you compare yourself to such and such? He's like, and the guy is basically calling him ugly, and he was just like, yeah, well, I'm not really into this to be looked upon like that, so I don't really care,
Yeah, man. I killed my dad.
I
Stabbed him right through the chest.
Yeah, man. Don't front on me, dude. Don't get a lightsaber and it's all crackly.
I'm just waiting for him to have a meltdown and start breaking shit with his
That's
lightsaber.
Great. Oh yeah.
Anyway, folks, that's the movies that I know of that are coming out here in December. At least the top ones that are being talked about and stuff. So, I don't know. Anybody got one that they're like super excited? As Aquaman for you, Todd?
I think as far as the ones coming out in the next few weeks, I think Aquaman's probably the one that's on the top of the list. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I haven't really been looking at what's coming out soon. The one movie I'm really excited to see isn't really coming out until March of next year. So,
What's that going to be?
Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire.
Yeah. Yeah, the trailer just started.
Oh my God, I watched that so many times. I was like, and everybody on Reddit is like kind of geeking out on the winter jackets they're wearing, and they're like trying to figure out what brand and everything else. And someone goes, "I found it! They're $2,000."
Oh, jeez. Well, they got deep pockets, I guess.
Yeah.
Mike, what about you? Is it Rebel Moon?
Yeah, geez, no, I'll watch it. I do like Zack Snyder. I'll go to my grave.
Cool.
One of the lines, the hillside that I die on, it's Sucker Punch. If it's a really good film.
I thought it was fun.
And I think that if the actresses didn't look like they did, it would have been taken much more seriously.
Like they were too pretty.
And so it got
that started
hate.
as a graphic novel, didn't it? Or?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think it's an excellent film. I think his, like with 300, and I'm sure now with Rebel Moon, it's the green screen. Everything against green screen. It's a different type of direction.
Yeah.
Right, because you're helping your actors through something that's closer to stage work in some ways, but then he also has to communicate his vision with not just the director of photography, but now all these different animation teams.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's a different type of direction, and I think he's the best at it.
Yeah, and the actors really have no literal point of reference, right? No visual point of reference to do stuff on.
Did either one of you see his version of the Justice League, the 4-hour?
Oh, yeah,
cut?
a couple times.
I don't think so.
What did you think of it?
I like it, but
I really enjoyed
even
it.
then, the source material, because it wasn't his project. I would have preferred it if it was his, that he was in on the writing team and everything else from the get-go.
I mean, he heavily borrowed from some big comic book titles.
Yeah, but overall, I think it was a vast improvement.
It was definitely better than the theatrical release, which was Joss Whedon took over for it.
Yeah. But even then, it should have been a better written film for as big budget it is, and for bringing Justice League together. It was supposed to be the launch of the Justice League franchises, right?
Yeah,
and it just wasn't good enough for that.
I really hope.
And I would say all the Man of Steel movies as well.
Yeah,
he fixed them, but they're not as good as they should have been.
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed those. I mean, as much as people complained about them, being really dark and stuff, I like that. I mean, that was a different take on Superman. And you didn't. Superman has always been like the positive, like Boy Scout kind of thing. This version of Superman, you see where he's like second guessing himself and like, how the fuck am I going to do this? And I couldn't even save my dad.
Yeah,
that kind of
and
stuff.
seeing that there are limitations to his power. Yeah.
So I thought that was great.
Sure.
And then I don't know. You got the fans who are like you went too far with away from the source material. I don't know. I liked it for what it was.
83 years of source material.
Right.
So it's like, not really.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it deserved a better storyline.
I think that
as a one sentence.
Right.
review.
I think the first movie in the DCU is going to be another Superman movie. I just really hope that James decides to not show like the origin story again.
Oh, man, yeah.
We don't need to see that again. We know that he came from Krypton. Krypton blew up. He landed in Kansas.
Clark Kent is Superman.
And let's get a better disguise than just a pair of glasses. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he's not going to be working in a newspaper. Newspapers aren't even a thing anymore.
Well,
He writes a blog.
I mean, seriously,
That's not even a thing anymore.
in the Adventures of Lois and Superman, or whatever the animated one on Max, and he was like a college student, and he and Lois were not even working at the Daily.
He runs a podcast. Todd, take off your glasses.
yeah, I knew it.
I ate Superman. I had him for breakfast.
All right, guys. Well, sharing is caring. Mike, do you got anything new that you've discovered this week? A new TV show, a book, a restaurant, something?
No, gonna go see Derelicts at Slams.
Okay.
Watch them rehash their shit, but I really like them. And what else? Yeah, no, went to a couple shows last weekend. That was fun. I think I'm going to be the fill-in door guy at Lucky.
No.
Because I kind of volunteered for that. So.
Okay. All right. Do you get free beer or anything?
Oh, I bet they would.
Yeah.
I bet they would.
Sure.
So, yeah, geez. I've still got a UV pen or a pen light so I can check IDs. And,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Click, 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 click. It unnerves.
Checking for that
Yeah.
McLovin.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. You need to think of something more original. Yeah.
What about you, Todd? Any new discoveries out there, movies, or TV
well, I mean,
shows?
season 2 for Reacher's coming out in 8 days, so I'm pretty psyched for
very
that.
stoked for that.
Yeah.
And season 12 of Letterkenny is coming out in 19 days, so, you know.
Yes.
If you guys have never seen Letterkenny and you like Clerks or anything like that, you'll like the show. It's hilarious.
Nice. Is this their last season? That they're going to do?
I believe it is their last
I thought
season.
I heard something about they weren't.
Yep, and then I think Shoresy's still going, and I think he's going to transition over just to doing that show, which is the character Shoresy is in pretty much every episode, all 12 seasons. He's that one hockey player that talks shit to the other 2 hockey players,
Right on.
and you never see his face because it's the same guy who plays Wayne. So
That's cool.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's a good show.
All right. Yeah, I guess the one show, I don't know if I mentioned this before, Bass Reeves on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Really good. Very good, well done show. And very well acted. Really like the actors, and I can't tell you the names of any of them, but
I also just saw a teaser for season 2 of Night Court, and Ross is coming back.
oh, nice.
So we'll see
Marshall Warfield.
Marshall Warfield. Yeah.
Nice.
Good call.
Yeah, I'm excited because she's the only other person from the original series to make an appearance.
She did stand up for a long time, too. Right?
Still does.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, follow her on Facebook. She's really funny still.
Nice. All right, well, ending on something positive, we talked about Shane McGowan earlier. I've got a quote from him, which I thought was pretty cool, and this is really rock and roll, right? It says, he says, cram as much pleasure as you can into life, and rail against the pain that you have to suffer as a result.
Nice.
Jeez.
Yeah, live life to its fullest, consume it all. That's what I got to say. So, all right, boys.
I do have something. Yeah, I was going to say that for those people out there like myself that are ADHD and neurodivergent, whatever you want to call it, just remember that your brain isn't always telling you the truth. So you got to challenge those negative thoughts. If your brain is telling you that this is happening or that's happening or this is what's going on, challenge those thoughts. Try to figure out a way around those negative thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, and definitely be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Always be kind. You are your own worst enemy sometimes.
True.
Everybody. And just take a moment and ease back, I guess. Stick with us if you're part of the members only section, or if you're on Patreon. We're doing our top 5 bonus round. This week we're doing the top 5 ways the U.S. would be better if Robin Williams had been president. Wow. I know it's a mouthful, and it took me a little bit of thinking on this one, but
I had to really think hard about the 5 different things that he could have done to make this country better.
Yeah. Mine are a little simplistic, but they're great.
Yeah.
Because Robin Williams was just such a magnificent
And
human,
it's patreon.com/ourtownpodcast. Is that right?
That sounds right.
Okay. Just making sure.
Or our-townpodcast.com. I mean, we're not hard to find. Go to the socials.
The link is on the website though for Patreon.
It's everywhere.
Okay.
All right, guys.
We have quiet on stage, please.
Quiet on the stage.
Right on stage.
Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you think this episode is worth $1 or $5, the boys would love to have it. Please go to ourtownpod.store for merch or to donate now. For less than a cup of coffee, you can also join the website in the member-only area for exclusive bonus content, blogs, and more. It's just $3 a month or $30 a year. Thank you for listening to this production of Our Town Podcast Extraordinaire.